Yeah, you ever recorded one, then you listen back and you're like, oh, this one's a wash. Like this one's ruined.
Yes. Yeah, actually, yeah. There's a couple, yeah. That are released.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
There was one, like, I learned my lesson the hard way, because on here you can keep the effects on.
Yeah.
And if you have the effects on, and you don't have headphones on, you don't know it's fucking up the whole recording.
Right.
So only when you listen to it later do you realize, oh, the whole thing's fucked up.
Yeah.
So there's no way to fix it. You just have to either use the camera audio or like do surgery to make it sound somewhat better.
Yeah.
Which I did the second one.
We had to do that when we had Sam Talent on Chinese Rocket Force.
Yeah.
It's the only episode where we just like didn't record the sound. There wasn't an SD card in.
Yeah, dude.
And I remember the second, you can like see us on video. I lean up, look at it, and I go, like at the end of it.
Oh, the end.
Yeah, so Lou had to salvage the camera audio for that one. And it's the biggest guest we ever had.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it sucks because it's often not even, it's the ones that are the most, and that's my biggest fear. Is that something that's really important, something that's like a big deal, I'm going to lose it somehow. That's why I hate deleting anything. I try to keep every single thing. I try to double check before I do. Because with the camera, you got to delete shit off the camera once it's on the computer. Yeah. But I'm always paranoid. What if I didn't put it on the computer already? What if I forgot? Right.
You know? Yeah.
And then if that happens, now I got to message so-and-so, say, hey, so-and-so, I deleted everything.
Yeah.
My bad.
That whole thing we did, it's gone forever.
Yeah, remember those memories? I ruined them.
At least we had the memories, you know?
Yeah.
That's why we do podcasts, for the memories. Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of funny, like the concept of someone making a podcast just as a way of like hanging out with people.
You know, say that, but I think that's a lot of people.
Right?
I used to do, when I started my movie podcast in college, I would like ask, I was so new to comedy, and I'd ask these comics that were more experienced than me. And my friend Zach, like I had him on, and on air, he just goes like, we can just hang out. You don't have to do this.
Like he saw right through it.
He did. No, and he fucking had me. Like he was right. You know, it's kind of.
Hey man,
I didn't know how to ask
always
people.
Text me, man.
Right. It's a funny thing with stand up in general, or like I guess if you're like any kind of an artist nowadays of some kind, it's like, well, does it count if we don't commodify it? You know?
Right. Well, that's kind of, dude. I mean, story of my life. Oh my god. Because that's kind of my problem is that I've gotten to the point where if in my mind I'm not efficient unless I do that. Like what the fuck am I doing unless I do that? Like why would I waste my time doing something else unless there's a good reason that it would feed back into this everything thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's like I remember, you know that guy Clavicular?
Yeah.
He was on the Adam Friedland show, and he was like saying like he won't do anything if he can't stream it. And
well, he was just on the Channel 5
Channel
thing,
5,
and he was talking about how he wouldn't go on a date. Was it that, or was it?
No, well, it was that similar type of thing. But he was saying it to Adam.
Maybe he took it even further because that's what he was saying is he wouldn't even want going. I think he said going on a date and not streaming it. Like, how ridiculous!
It was like what's the point?
What's the point of that?
and so many people were shitting on him, and I was kind of like, all right, guys, but like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, what
like
a
this
nightmare.
isn't just like people won't admit it, they won't phrase it that way, but like. So many people do kind of live their lives that way of like it doesn't count if I don't publish it.
Well, a date is
it's a tree
bit
falls
much,
in the woods type of thing.
But regular life, it's the same thing. I mean, it's funny. I know I don't have that because I take pictures of my food. And I look like somebody who's doing that, but then I never fucking post the pictures. Like I have so many pictures of my nieces and nephews, and so many of these pictures. I take pictures, but I don't post them. So I know like I don't have that second part, but I have the first part where I want to like take the picture. I want to keep the memory, but I don't like. It's to me, it's weird that it doesn't have value by itself. Like I actually think it takes work to post things, and it's annoying for me to share it because now I have to do all this extra stuff.
And then you're insecure about like if it's gonna get likes.
Yeah, and then I'm paying attention to that. Yeah, and like to me, what does it matter? So it is weird that would become so, what's the word? I guess just entangled with social life in general, right? Because I mean, like, we're the same age. So when I feel like we're on the edge of when things really started to change. Because I feel like, 2016 is when I graduate high school, and cell phones, iPhones, that's like 2012. So the world's still kind of adapting and picking up social media and all this from like 2008 onward. And then you have because iPhones become a thing, and that changes everything. And then you have Facebook really become a thing after MySpace, and I think then it just all snowballs. And so I would say like 2016 to 2020, I mean, that's where it all goes wild. But I don't think the world really went wild until about 2014 to 2016.
Sure.
So I think I got to experience childhood where social media wasn't quite the same thing. Like, I think when I was in high school, social media was more about just sharing stuff, truly.
Yeah.
Like, I remember advertising on Facebook, and you could pay, I want to say it was $10, and you would get like 2,000 views, and it would be 2,000 actual views that actually like felt like views.
Sure.
Where I feel like nowadays I think if you pay $10, you're gonna get like 500 views, which an algorithm might just give you anyways. So to me, it doesn't even make sense. But back then, it felt so different. All this stuff felt a lot more like just sharing stuff.
Well, and it's funny that it's like you and I were kind of at that generation where we moved on. We realized that's lame.
Yeah.
Like we realized like posting about your day is lame.
Yeah.
But then there's like a whole, like the millennials, a lot of them haven't caught on. And you check in on Facebook and they're still treating it like it's like 2010.
Like it matters.
Yeah. They're like talking about what happened today. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like what? And it's like, I don't know. It's fine that you're treating it like a diary. That's all right. Whatever. But like, the thing about a diary is that's for you, and you're going to be 100% honest. But there's always some level of performance, like there's a guy back at home who always posts, he's a comic, and he always posts about every set that he has. And it's always like, I did this, it went great, Booker complimented me, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen his act, and I don't believe him. Like, like at this point, what's the point? You're just trying to convince people that you're good, even though they weren't there?
Really think, and like, I don't know if this is a thing, but I think that like people have like an internet persona, like ego, like an internet personality, like that's them, and then you have like the real life you. Like those are literally two different things. Yeah, because they're just not the same thing.
And it's weird when people, and I think this happens a lot with comics and probably other types of entertainers, is like the blending of the two, and you kind of the loss of identity when you do that. Like,
well, because they confuse it for real life. They think the internet is real.
Well, there's this woman.
It's not real.
There's this woman. I'm gonna put. We'll call her a comic. We'll be nice. But she, back at home, she like regularly posts every time like something sad happens. She posts a photo of her crying. Like she'll take a selfie while she's crying, and it seems like she has a really sad life because she posts a lot of them. Like she's like crying every day, and every time I'm like, I kind of just like, you didn't need. I don't know. You don't need to do that. I don't really understand. Maybe it's like accountability, like accepting, like, hey, I'm sad right now, and I'm gonna accept
Maybe
that.
She's really sad.
Yeah, but it's like we all have to know she's sad now,
To me, crying on camera is really weird.
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre because I have been crying before and thought this would be good to use for something, but I've never thought like I want to get likes for this, like I want to apply this to a certain social situation, or I'm crying about like this. So like I've never thought it that way. I've thought more of like a filmmaker, like weird, like David Lynch way. I thought like, oh, I could get a teardrop on camera. This would look cool.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that's what I've thought. Yeah. But I think it's weird to like post that on TikTok. Like,
right?
Why? Like, and also, I'm thinking like my legacy. Like, don't you think about your legacy? Like, how are you gonna feel about this 10 years later?
Well, yeah, like you're gonna have kids, and then your kids' friends are gonna find it, and they're gonna go like, "Hey, did you know your dad's a huge pussy? I found this video of him crying."
Well, dude, clavicular. I mean, imagine him 10 years from now. That was when I was reading the comments for these interviews. Yeah, exactly.
He's a kid.
And you think about it when. I mean, I'm 27. I think when I was 20, I was an idiot, and I think I'm gonna think I was an idiot now. In 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. That's another part of the internet being so involved in everything. Is like, I mean, even look at comedy, right? Now, comics are expected to post all the time.
Yeah.
And so you have this different world where people either post a bunch of crowd work videos and all this, or they just post kind of lackluster material, or they don't post that much because there's just no way as a comic you can post all this material and not just post everything.
And the thing is, when people say like, oh, a lot of the stuff this comic post sucks, like I guarantee that comic knows it sucks.
Yeah, right.
Like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like they're like, I got this set. I'm putting out everything I can from it because you need to post like every day or some shit,
Because of algorithms.
Right.
Because of Yeah. And so I just feel like it, and again, that bleeds into reality because now people, I think then the standards kind of change and people then start to go to open mics and turn on their camera and do things at open mics for a video rather than try to become a better comedian.
Well, and they're doing crowd work so they can keep having new shit because like they don't want to burn their hour or whatever.
But they're not doing crowd work because they want to do crowd work or they think that's a good idea.
Right. I kind of think
quota.
I'm willing to believe most comics learn crowd work as a necessity, and very few of them actually want to do it. You know?
Well, I mean, it should be something you should only do if you have to, or like if you. I mean, like, because I've heard, I think it was Paul Farvar told me that he doesn't like, and maybe this is like he said it was something like an expectation at clubs or with bigger comics. I think that's what he said. But it's like if you're a bigger comic and you're at a club and an opener who's you don't know this opener, and they do 10 minutes of crowd work about the guy in the front row or the people in the front row. Yeah. Well, now you're kind of fucked as the guy who's like the comic they came for. Because what if you didn't see that crowd work and then you mention that guy and you try to make a similar joke or you do something else? Now the audience is confused and it's not even your fault. It's kind of the opener's fault because he did so much crowd work that, you know, were you supposed to pay attention to the whole 2-3 hours of everyone else's material? Like, no, probably not. Yeah. And so that's another problem with crowd work I would have never even thought of until he mentioned that to me, because I'm sure that'd be annoying as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
You're just trying to be funny. And then, you know, somebody else just thought it was a good idea to make half their set crowd work, and you didn't know that.
I think, I mean, I guess that kind of goes for everything where it's like, I mean, if you're a headliner, you never know if you're stepping on a bit from an opener unless you watch it. You know, like,
that's true.
You watch their set. And but yeah, I mean, I guess with crowd work, it is specific. Like, it's like there's only a finite amount of people in that room.
Especially the people in the front row.
Yeah, there's only so much you can say about it. Like, if a guy's in the front row with cargo shorts, it's like, you know, somebody's going to say
there's a guy who talks the whole show. And, I mean, I guess, like, maybe, well, that was going to get addressed no matter what, so maybe that's a bad example. Cargo shorts is perfect.
Yes, yeah. No, the people who talk the whole show, and this actually pisses me off, is when sometimes there's a person who talks a lot, but they're not heckling, but they're just, like, responding, you know?
Yeah.
And I did the show one time, and there were, like, these two Gen Z girls in the back, and, like, every joke, like, they wouldn't laugh, but they'd go like, yes, or they would go like, oh, not the blank, like, you know, they'd verbally respond to like every bit, right? To the point where like it was annoying the crowd. Like, I could tell like they were like stepping on the bits, and the comics would go up, and the comics don't want to seem like assholes, so they would go like, oh, you guys are great, you know, and they'd like try to like kind of have a back and forth with them. And I was kind of like, somebody's got to be the asshole. Somebody has to go up there and say like, listen, none of us like you actually. Like, we're all very upset. We'd all appreciate if you weren't doing that. But instead, it's like, since they're not being assholes, since they're not yelling at us or something, or they're not talking, like, they're like responding to us, we have to act like we're cool with it. And a guy went up and he was just like, "No, you guys are great. That's not even heckling." And I'm like, don't do that. Don't enable them. Like, somebody's just got to tell them to shut the fuck up. Yeah. You know? And
ideally, you can do it in a funny way, right?
Sure. Hopefully you can. And if you can't, then you got to take one for the team, you know?
Yeah, good cop, bad cop.
Exactly. You know, if you shut them down and you're early in the lineup, you're doing a favor for everyone that's going to come after you.
Yeah, I think. Because, I mean, like, those people, they're just not conditioned. They don't even know how comedy works.
Right.
That's the problem.
Maybe they've watched their crowd work and they're just like, oh, they want to have a back and forth. This is a conversation.
Yeah, and then you have the guy on stage going, oh, good job. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst thing you could say. I don't know. What did you say? Do you remember what you said? Because I'm trying to think of what I would say. Like, how
I was like second on the lineup, so I didn't think they were going to be as big of a problem as they were. And then I saw them continue to like be a problem.
I see.
And then I'll never forget, it was like at the last comic of the night was Sam Rossi, and Sam's not gonna he's not gonna fucking crowd work somebody. Like, he has jokes that he very like carefully wrote.
Yeah.
And he had like a bit where he intentionally has an awkward pause, and he like pauses, and then the girl in the back just goes, not the awkward pause, and Sam goes, shut the fuck up, go on your phone. And then he like kept going, and you could feel like the relief in the crowd of like, oh my God, thank you, you know? But then also go on your phone being like the most, like that's what made it funny. Because they're like, you know, they're kids. Like he's calling them kids like, at that point.
Well, and I guess it would also be pointing out how little it even matters to them. This whole thing even matters. Because obviously none of this even matters to them if they're just talking the whole time. They don't even know what the point is of this fucking thing.
Right, exactly.
Obviously. And that's what everyone in the room is thinking.
They're like, wait, we just like sit here and listen? That's that's all we do. You talk and we don't say anything?
I have a friend who I took to a comedy show, and he kept doing that, and I kept having to like shush him, and I'm hoping that he's trainable and that this isn't going to be an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
Because I recognize these people exist.
Sure.
It's an affliction that people have.
I'm so simple where I'm like, I don't understand when people want to talk while they're watching something. Like
me neither.
Like I get anxiety if I'm in the movie theater and the person I'm with is like whispers too loud to me. I'll be like, dude, shut the like I'm like and I don't like some people don't know how to whisper, first of all, and that's a problem. But then also like I'm kind of like, yeah, you can wait till this is over till we talk about it.
You got to lay down the ground rules first.
Yeah,
I think if you're that kind of person, you should say that first, because some people don't realize, and then they'll get offended. Sometimes you'll be like, shh,
right?
They'll give you a face, or they'll think that you telling them to not talk to you, dude, is an insult.
It was just like a reflex I had. I shushed my girlfriend in a movie theater one time.
Oh yeah, see, that's it right there.
It ruined the night, and I didn't even. And it was legitimately like, it wasn't even that I was upset at her. I was afraid. We were in like, what I thought was kind of like an artsy movie theater, so I thought we were gonna get kicked out if we talked at all. Like, because a lot of those like Alamo Drafthouse, whatever, they're like super strict. You know?
Really?
So I was kind of like, she said one thing to me early on, and I went shh, like that. And then she just went back to watching. And then I'm like, fuck. And then like a minute later, I leaned over. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I shushed you. And she's like, shh. And I'm like, fuck. Damn it. And then she was weird about it the rest of the day. And I was like, all right, it's on me.
See, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about like doing like a movie club thing with comedians, which I learned is actually a lot harder to arrange than I thought it was going to be. I thought like, oh, I know comedians, they're all just going to want to show up. No, I guess not. Because I don't know how to get them to show up. Maybe if I offer them food or weed or something.
If you offer them free things.
Yeah, that's actually probably, I never thought of that till just now.
Yeah,
offer them free shit.
We're all broke. Like,
if you offer me free shit, I'll go.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking, again, ground rules. I was thinking I don't want these comedians talking the whole movie. They're going to try to be funny. They're going to try to be funny, and they're going to try to like
They're going to try to like Mystery Science Theater it,
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
They're going to try to be the movie. And it's like, no. I would watch this by myself. I'm inviting you.
Right. Yeah,
you don't understand. Yeah. We can make a comment. Like, I'm trying to think of the rules, because I don't want people to feel like it's like, like Nazi Germany, and you can't do anything inside my apartment.
There's no way to not seem like the asshole. Like,
exactly.
you seem like that's why I'm like, I go to the movies alone sometimes, because like
I watch most movies by myself.
Yeah, because I'm like, all I'm doing is watching it. I don't need a person there with like.
It's fun to watch movies with people.
It is, particularly like if I like going to the movies with people, because you're experiencing it together, and then you can like talk about it together afterwards.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's, but I don't need it to be a social experience. There's people who are like, I won't go to the theater unless I'm with a person.
That's weird.
And I'm like, but what if there's a movie out that I really want to see and nobody else is free? I'm like, I'm not going to not go.
That's like not going to a restaurant that you think is really nice because no one will go with you. I guess I do that one though. I do that, but I would go to a movie because like a movie is different. Like it's not a restaurant. Like a restaurant will be there. A movie's going to only be there for like a month.
That's the thing. Well, in a movie also, you're like, I want to catch the movie before it's gone.
Yeah.
And also in a movie, everyone's facing one direction,
Yeah.
And if you're at a restaurant and you go alone, they're going to sit you at a table where there's a seat across from you and there's nobody in it. And then that will highlight how lonely you are more than sitting in a movie theater alone.
Excellent point. Yeah. Yeah. And to even add to that, in a movie theater, you might feel more togetherness. If it's a packed movie theater, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You're actually like in a big group.
There's
like
this
going to a
beautiful
party.
sense of community. Like you're all strangers, but you're experiencing this thing together.
I'll say I need to go to the movies more and I have went a few times recently, but a movie I went to that I did not like that was like a packed audience that the theater closed down. It's not far from here, but I saw Barbie. And I did not like that movie. I'm thinking, I was thinking during the movie.
Hot takes.
Dude, oh my God.
Hot movie takes.
It's not even like, I mean, dude, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking if I had kids and I was watching this and I had kids with me, I would have left by now. Like, I was thinking like that. I'm thinking, what the fuck is this propaganda bullshit? Like, I was getting mad.
This is pro-Mattel propaganda.
Well, it's not even Mattel. The thing is, I was thinking, because I think I saw this director's previous movie.
Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, what was her previous with A24
She did
one?
Little Women, and then she did like Lady Bird.
Lady Bird. So I saw Lady Bird. I didn't dislike Lady Bird, and I should probably rewatch it. But like, I felt like Barbie. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot, but when I was watching the commercials and before this is, by the way, Oscar, he usually has 20 to 30 minutes before he gets up and starts moving around. So that was it right there.
Yeah, that's the timestamp.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But Barbie, I was thinking that this is going to be some fun, like, kid movie. It's going to be fun, silly little movie.
Oh, you thought it was a kid's movie?
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, it's PG-13, so that's...
See, this is the thing. I thought I'm walking... But the kids are going to go because it's a Barbie movie. It's literally a movie about a children's toy.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking, this is going to be fun, like Lego movie.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go into it, and it's like... Barbie's getting a speech about like how she's like against she's a part of the capitalist regime or something. I can't remember
like
how
patriarchy
exactly.
or something. Yeah.
But it just goes so deep. And then there's some other shit where it's like I just feel like it's like a sort of condescending political filmmaking that I don't like. Like with the Ryan Gosling thing where he's a man, so he's man Barbie and he's in man world, and look, he likes simple man things like business handshakes and horses and guns and cowboy shit.
But he doesn't know why he likes those things. He just learns that he's supposed to like those things.
Yeah, but the point that the filmmaker's trying to make is that, men are like this. That's what she's trying to say. Look at men are like this. Look at women are like this. And I feel like that's a reductive thing to be telling people. And also, why are you telling people this in a fucking Barbie movie? But then you can make the argument, well, Barbie's always been tied to feminism and Barbie's always been tied to...
Right.
But I don't think the film just does those things in the way that's true to the idea of Barbie and Mattel in my mind. But maybe I'm wrong, but I have all these feelings, and I just remember watching this movie in the theater, and these people, I remember walking out of the theater after it was over. And
you were one of those guys. You were one of those angry guys at Barbie.
Yes, dude.
That's crazy.
I was him. I watched the whole fucking movie. I went by myself. I watched
awesome.
the whole movie.
Wait, okay, so that actually makes it more problematic. You thought it was a fucking kids movie, and you went to see it on your own.
I don't watch trailers.
So much worse.
For the record, I don't watch trailers, guys.
Yeah. But that's
I don't
you were
look into
alone,
anything.
and you were like, I want to watch this kids movie.
Not really that. I was thinking because I like a Pixar movie.
Sure.
I like a good like Lego movie. I haven't seen it. I'm sure I'd like it.
Right.
I like fucking. Matter of fact, most Pixar movies like Coco is the shit, dude.
Coco's
awesome.
I like
haven't
Coco.
watched Moana in a while.
Yeah.
I know Moana 2 sucks, and I don't even want to watch it. All these new ones suck, but Moana was great. Coco was great. Coco was probably the last great one, actually. Probably right around there. Inside Out was good too. But like all these, I'm a sucker for these kind of movies. Like just like I'm a sucker for rom-coms. Like it doesn't take much to satisfy me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'm an easy audience goer. This is going to be a simple-minded Barbie movie, and instead it was like a challenging political film. But I had seen her previous film, so I didn't think it was going to be like that. I thought she was gonna I thought what was gonna happen.
I thought it was pretty in line with her previous films.
The other thing I should say is I guess my expectation was I thought it was gonna be, since it was an A24 like artsy director, she did Little Women and then Lady Bird. I thought that it was gonna be like an artsy approach with this big budget, and it was kind of like I said, like artsy, not a movie that's like preaching to me or being political in any way, but just an artsy film that's approaching like an IP in an interesting way, because that would set a good precedent moving forward. And that's not what we got. Instead, we got a movie that clearly had a message. And
well, every movie has a message.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you could take an IP like that, and if you're a direct, and maybe I just had a false idea of who this director was, because I guess I didn't see Little Women, and maybe I should have expected this type of thing going into it. Maybe it's my fault, because that seems to be kind of the running line throughout all her films that I did not realize was going to happen to move into Barbie.
I also think, if I could push back for a second, like
you can like the movie. I don't care.
Well,
if
no,
like
I mean, I like the. I'm not like a Barbie. I don't care that much.
Barbie ride or die.
Yeah, I like the movie just fine, but I'm like, I think that it's a little bit more complex with the men-women thing, because I think part of the point of the thing is that the Kens, like the men, they are like. They're like the proletariat, you know. They're like treated badly, right? In this world,
yeah. And but how does that conclude? How does that storyline conclude with her and Ken? I can't remember.
Because basically what happens is it's like Ken gets radicalized, right? He goes to the real world. He discovers man shit.
Yeah.
He discovers a world where men are in charge, and he's like, "This is awesome."
Yeah. Because it's the flip of what Barbie's world is,
right? And my takeaway was like, because at the end of it, they kind of realize, oh, they got to let the Kens have some say in stuff, or else this pendulum swing happens, you know, where it's like, because kind of that thing is like, it's almost like a story of like how somebody gets radicalized, right? Like when you treat people, and you kind of like the Kens are kind of like at the edge of society. It's like once they discover that there's like a better life for them, they're going to try to make everything work for them. And then now the Barbies hate being on the other side of it, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I think, I mean, obviously it's got like a feminist message. Like,
because when Barbie gets back, the Kens took over.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But then
and
like,
Ken's all cool and shit at the door. That's a great scene, by the way.
I think Gosling's legitimately very good.
I loved him in that movie.
Yes,
by the way. I didn't like the movie. I loved him in the movie.
I love Gosling. Do you ever seen The Nice Guys?
Oh, dude. Fantastic. Also, who's the Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, yeah.
That's like, it makes you realize Russell Crowe is a phenomenal comedic actor.
Yes. Well,
you would never guess.
He's the perfect straight man because Gosling's the crazy one in that one. Like he's giving. In The Nice Guys, I was like, oh, I think this is like one of the greatest comedic performances of this century. And so when everybody was blown away by him in Barbie, I was like, yeah, he's good in Barbie, but like I was already ahead of the curve. I saw The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
I saw that twice in theaters. I knew that he had
this. What's that new movie he's in now that everybody's talking about?
The space one?
Yeah, what's it about?
It's the one where he used to go to space to like save the world. I didn't see it.
But again, I try to look up as little as possible. So I guess all I can
Project
say
Hail
I
Mary.
know, Project Hail Mary,
That's
and all I can say I know is that I think I heard it's Castaway in Space. So that's actually probably enough for me.
That's
the
probably
Martian
all
too,
I need to
know.
The Martian is Castaway in Space.
I haven't seen that either, but yes, that's probably The Martian. Yep, it's Castaway in Space. Because yes, it is Castaway on Mars.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But that was book. Castaway on Mars was a book first.
Yes.
Which I don't know. Maybe that came before Castaway.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think this might be a total lie, but I think I saw in the trailer Project Hail Mary, I think is from the same author who wrote the Martian book. I believe. So he's all connected. He's got like a type of story.
He really likes people getting stuck somewhere.
He really likes people stuck in space, you know? Which is fine. We keep making movies about that, like Apollo 13. We love movies about people stuck in space.
Yeah, you know, that's another movie. I had the projector up north, and I could stream stuff if I used like the internet. So what movie should I watch on Netflix? I picked Apollo 13, and I watched the first 20 minutes of that movie. I thought, this shit sucks, and then I turned it off. And I think I need to watch it again because I told my mom that. She's like, what? That's a good movie. I'm like, what? All right. I mean, it sucked. Because I think when I was watching it, I was thinking, this is like Oscar bait ass, like tearjerker ass. What the fuck is this? Sure. And maybe I was wrong, and maybe I was just being hypercritical. Because I think I didn't get to the good part. I'm pretty sure I just watched the first act of the movie where they go to space, and all the good shit was just about to happen.
Well, you ever heard the phrase coworker cinema?
No, tell me about it.
It's coworker shit. Like coworkers like
like coworker music.
Yes, exactly. So
where it's like, you know, just kind of
kind of the most like
just the most generic
soulless
shit.
generic
like
thing.
NPC stuff almost.
Yeah. And I think there's good coworker movies that are like competently made, well done.
I would say Fast all the Fast and Furious movies.
Fast and Furious, those are all coworker.
Those are coworker movies.
You know, and
I
they
enjoy
have
those
such
a big budget. They're not like you could never say they don't sell or they're not successful.
Right.
So, but they're coworker movies.
Yes, exactly.
Like, there's not someone who's like a cinephile that loves film that goes to those movies because they want a good story and they want
right. We want Han to get avenged. You know, we want like that shit. Like.
It's like, oh, I guess John Cena's his brother now. That's how these movies work.
And here's the thing. I'm able to code switch, right? Because I am like that serious cinephile guy. But when I remember going to see that movie, I'm like, John fucking Cena is his brother? Like, hell yeah. Like, I was, you know, I can accept the terms of whatever movie I'm watching.
I think that's important to be able to enjoy coworker movies. I think you have to be able to turn your mind off and enjoy a bad movie. And it makes good movies better, too. Like, that's the important part. Like, I think if you just do like the film student thing and just watch a bunch of all the best movies, you'll probably actually kind of spoil yourself in a way because you didn't watch enough bad movies along the way. Like you should probably every now and then sprinkle in a bad one. Yeah. Because the bad movies are good. Or even like, you know, watch a franchise. The franchises are good because the first one tends to be great. You know, the first ones are good. And then you move forward and you just kind of watch it
and spoil. It dwindle.
I like to watch the light go out.
Right. Yeah. Dude, I watched all of the Leprechaun movies in college.
See, that's how many are there?
There's let me think. All right, wait, let's run through it. Leprechaun 1, 2, 3, Leprechaun 4 in space, Leprechaun Goes to the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, Leprechaun Origins, Leprechaun. There's 8 Leprechaun movies.
Nice.
And 0 of them are good.
But not even one?
No, none of them are good. I mean, they're like, there's moments. They got their moments. But I remember by the time I was on Leprechaun 4, I'm like, well, I got to watch the rest of this. I'm like, I'm made it this far. Like, I got to have something under my belt for this whole experience.
You know what's funny? So right now, literally just yesterday, I watched Scream 4. And Scream 4 came out in 20...
Are you watching all the Screams for the first time?
Yes, exactly. And so Scream 4 came out in 2011. Yeah. And I'm at that same exact point where I'm like, because I know it's going to get worse because it went from Scream 4 in 2011, which was... I didn't realize until I watched the movie. So it's like Wes Craven directed the first 4. Yeah. But the first 2 had the same writer, and then you had a different writer for the third one. And then he comes back for 4.
Kevin Williamson.
And 4 is way fucking better than 3.
Yes.
And 2 is all right. Yeah. But really 4 is like the return to what was so good about 1. Yes. And so now I'm worried because so I know that Scream 7 was not received well. That's kind of what even got me to think about watching these movies
again. And the
writer
came back for Scream 7.
He directed the movie.
Kevin Williamson directed.
I just realized that.
Scream 7.
That kind of confuses me.
And it is, and I will say this boldly: Scream 7 is the worst Scream movie by a mile.
Oh, see, now it's giving me the trauma of when I watch Game of Thrones because the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones so good. Yeah. Some of the best TV ever made, I would argue. Nothing better than that. Breaking Bad is my favorite show. I think first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones stands up to that. It's so fucking good. But then it just drops off to like the most generic shit ever. And so when you tell me something like this, I'm thinking, but these 4 movies were pretty solid. And so I know I'm feeling like this now. I have to watch the rest because I'm this invested. I have to see what happens.
Well, and I'm easy to please too.
But they get rid of Wes Craven. I know that's
he died.
Wes Craven died, and because of that, I think the film's just totally going to be different. And I'm easy to please too, in the sense that I don't think I think I'm critical, but I think when it comes to a franchise, all I really want is for you to not shit all over the first what this is supposed to be. And with something like Scream, the way they've designed these movies, you're literally like, that's the point. That's the whole point. You're addressing that these movies normally do that. Right. And so if you were to do that, you would be committing a crime. Because you would be, if you did that non-ironically, if you did it non-ironically and not in a self-aware sense, and you just made bad choices and you weren't. But anyway, continue.
No, I agree. So I'm going to boldly, and you'll have your own opinion when you see them. I think Scream 5 and 6 are pretty good.
Oh, okay.
I think, and it's because they're made by good filmmakers. Like the guys who made it are the same guys who made like Ready or Not. Like they're good at that type of movie. Yeah. So they knew what they were doing, and then so like they had a vision and it worked. It's not. I'd say they're better than Scream. Scream 3 is was my least favorite. Yeah. Until Scream 7 came out. And
I'm surprised to find that people don't hate that movie that much.
I don't even hate it. I'm like honestly up until Scream 7, I'm like I like all of them. Yeah, some of them more than others.
Well, that's my understanding of. That's why I was interested too. Is I heard people saying that about Scream 7 is that the franchise was good up to Scream 7.
And I think the case with Scream 7, it was like a rush job because they fired the star of the previous two movies,
which ironically was the case of the first few movies too. It's like the writing and all of it is rushed, and they do rewrites and all this bullshit.
Exactly. But continue. Well, it was like Scream 2. They changed the ending at the last minute because the killers got leaked or whatever.
And then Scream 3, they made a joke about, we have 3 different scripts to make sure, so we don't know who because in the movie the killer has the script of the movie.
Yes.
And so he's killing people based on the order of how they died in the script.
Right.
But they had 3 different scripts that they wrote.
Yes.
So that way they don't know who the killer is killing. But in real life, when they wrote Scream 2, they wrote 3 different scripts.
Yeah.
So that way people didn't know
they had
how.
ringer copies. Yeah.
But this is so funny how, because I didn't see that being said a whole lot when I was looking at these movies, that like that was them addressing the real life thing of there being 3 different scripts.
Yeah.
Because they incorporate it in the third movie of the plot.
Right.
So, and the third movie does kind of suck, but there are good things like that. You know, like there are good little. I think the meta stuff the third movie does is actually okay.
It is. It's
because Wes Craven still had his touch, and the writer still had his. The original writer had his. Or no, he didn't. That was not him.
Right.
Yes.
I think Scream 3. The only issue with it that I think is that it's so into the satire of it all that it almost kind of forgets that it becomes a joke movie.
Yeah.
Like it becomes too much of a comedy.
And there was less gore too.
There was less gore
because Columbine.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then they cut out a whole plot line because originally it was going to be Scream 3. It was going to be Matthew Lillard was still alive,
which is such a bummer.
And he was going to be like controlling the new killers, and they decided not to do that because that script was like too similar to Columbine.
And you know what's so great, folks? And I still haven't seen Scream 7, but I know because they put this thing on YouTube, the behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
They were like, oh well, we couldn't bring Matthew Lillard back, so we brought him back as AI, which to me is like the dumbest shit
such
you could
a pussy
ever. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You had the idea already to bring him back, so you can bring him back because you already had that idea.
Yeah,
so you just do the same idea you were going to do before, but instead they did something.
Like, at no point does the movie ever make you think he's actually back.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
you're just like it's right off the
but
bat.
It's
You're
trying
like,
to trick
they're
you?
fucking with it. Yeah, it's trying to trick you, but it's not convincing.
Yeah.
You're like, there's no way he's gonna still be alive. And but like. The Scream 7 thing, it was like the woman who starred in 5 and 6, she got fired for like speaking out against Israel or something.
Wasn't she the one who starred in all of them? Or was it Jenna Ortega?
No, it wasn't Jenna Ortega. It was Melissa Barrera.
Okay.
Because she's kind of the lead of 5 and 6. And it's like 5, Sydney kind of passes the torch a bit.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, she's the star of 5 and 6.
But didn't Jenna Ortega side with her?
Jenna Ortega sided with her, and she's in both of those movies with her. And then she gets fired, and then they're like, okay, well, our main character's gone. How the fuck are we gonna? And then it's like last minute, they bring back Kevin Williamson. They're like, hey, figure it out. And they're like, all right, Sydney's the main character again. And it feels like such a disrespect, honestly.
And they don't even pay. They just get rid of the other 2. They don't even think about the other 2.
They don't even mention them. And it's like back to being a Sydney movie. And it feels weird, especially after we've seen Sydney kind of hand off the torch, to just be like, all right, here's Sydney again. And it feels very like, she has a character arcs that like we've already seen in like 4, like we've already seen her go through this journey, you know,
which is something that I think they did with 3 with the whole relationship arc with the I forget the 2 characters' names right now, but the cop and then the reporter.
Dewey and Gale.
It's a will they won't they thing.
And
for
they
the first
that.
One, they kind of repeat it
That's
for the second one.
Because in 4 they're just married. And
exactly.
4,
it's it's an actual plot progression, whereas the first 3 kind of repeat. But you can forgive the second one. The third one doesn't even really make sense because it's like, didn't we just do the exact same thing?
Yeah, you broke them up between movies again. Like that's insane.
But so and then that's just a sin of any, again, like that's, if you're doing something that's supposed to be self-aware, that's the worst time you could do that, because now you're literally doing the thing that these sequel reboot things are never supposed to do, and you're not even doing it on purpose. You're doing it non-ironically on accident. You know, you shouldn't be rewriting the other movie unless you're. I mean, and that's something that's fun about all these movies is it's like they do that on purpose. You know, there's going to be a party at the end, and the party is where it's all going to go down. To the point where in the third movie they're trying to avoid a party, and then they end up at a party anyways, and that's like part of it. Like why would we go to this? I don't know. We have
to go. To change the game that much. You know, it's like just do what you're doing well. well, and I'm going to be
That's
happy.
why I can't even imagine it getting bad, because I'm thinking this is kind of a simple formula.
It's a
you
solid
mess this
formula.
up?
Yeah.
But what you just described makes a lot of sense. And studio involvement, I mean, that's like movie mess up 101,
Right.
studio involvement, right? Like you get a studio to tell you what to do, and you get them to tell you to make a rewrite. And I mean, that's the whole Suicide Squad story. That's why Suicide Squad, the original, was such a mess. Is because the studio thought a trailer meant you should change the editing of a movie.
Right. Well,
Which
it's like,
is, genius,
what's
right?
funny is that you could tell when they started making Suicide Squad, they were like, oh, it's going to be dark. We're doing dark stuff. Because everyone they thought Dark Knight had kind of like redefined what superhero movies are going to be. And then during that time, like Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, and they're like, no, people want goofy. And then like last minute, they tried to make it goofy, and you could feel that identity crisis in that movie, where it just doesn't piece together.
Yeah, but like the sad part is the general audience has no fucking clue what's going on.
Right.
They don't even know.
I saw Suicide Squad, the first one. I saw that movie high, and I remember coming out of there going like, dude, that, like, I feel like I didn't catch any of the plot. And then like later I watched it at home not high, and I'm like, oh no, it's just like this. Like, it's just...
What's so funny about that movie, like, it's going to be bad off rip, because the first 10, 15 minutes are just character introductions, one after another. Each one's a different song. Like,
different needle drop. They spent a fortune on all of like the classic rock needle drops.
and the needle drops don't even make sense.
They don't.
They're just random.
Right.
It's like maybe a couple of them are like, okay, that lines up.
And that's the Guardians of the Galaxy effect, because that movie was all needle drops, and they're like, oh, that's what people wanted. They want needle drops.
You're right. And so they put $5 million into needle drops.
Yeah. And it's like, if you watch, I'm not even like a Marvel fanboy, but like you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, the needle drops make sense. They all say something about Chris Pratt.
They'll do a whole sequence that's like obviously built around a needle drop.
Right. It was clearly planned ahead. We're going to have the song.
It's a 4-minute song, and the song's playing all the way through, and you're having all this shit happen on cue throughout the song. There's no way you do that.
And also, like, with it being 80s songs, you're like, oh, well, Star-Lord, he's still stuck in the 80s. Like, it makes sense, like, I don't know. Or 70s.
I mean, it's just a shame because it's studio involvement. They don't know. It's stupid because they'll take a movie and they'll just put another movie on top of a movie or tell you make a movie like this. I mean, that's why when you're pitching a movie, it's like, oh, well, it's like X and Y combined. It's like if these two movies were combined to make this movie. It's always because that's how you sell a movie. They want two things that are already successful to have sex to make a new thing.
Right.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
Why? How can you prove to me this will work? And that's why, I just think it's funny. Like, I read this book a while back, and it's called Writing Screenplays That Sell. And I always keep it right here. And it's from, I think I want to say the 80s. And it should say a year in it, but it is the 80s.
Who wrote it?
Michael Hogg. And I don't think he's like an amazing screenwriter or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like all the guys who write books about screenwriting or teach screenwriting will be like, the guy who wrote Save the Cat was like, I forget, he wrote like Baby's Day Out.
That's a popular one too, right?
That's a really popular one, yeah. Or like there's a film professor, no shade to this guy, film professor back at MSU, he wrote Anaconda.
Yeah.
And you're like, and it's like that, listen, it's, you still have knowledge of, structure.
It's like right under Citizen Kane, I thought.
Right. Well, it's like the guys who became successful screenwriters, they didn't start teaching it. They just kept screenwriting, because that's what they were thriving in.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. What I like about this book is it's not really teaching it teaches the structure of a screenplay, but it's really trying to teach it in the context of like how someone you're selling a script to is going to expect your script to look. Yeah. And I don't think that stuff's necessarily true. Like, I mean, there's so many screenwriters who didn't follow any of these rules and they've been successful. But it's interesting to me because this is in the 80s. He's talking about Karate Kid and how Karate Kid, karate's in at the time and these action type films are in at the time. So that movie sells. Yeah. And this is the 80s. And, and also one thing I didn't know that I learned from that book that, I don't think most people know is that it's not like most movies you watch are like, oh, I always wanted to write this movie, so I wrote this movie and I got it made. Yeah. That's like a small percentage of movies. Right. Most movies are commissioned screenwriting.
Yeah, yeah. If you write a spec script that gets bought by a studio, what's going to happen is they most likely will not make that movie.
Never.
They'll buy your script, they'll put you on a list, and then
if
they're like...
If they even see your script. The likelihood of them seeing your script is so low.
But if by chance they buy your script, they're probably not going to produce it. They're going to put you on a list of writers that they like or whatever, and then the next time they want to make a Charlie's Angels reboot, they'll be like, hey, how about that guy who wrote that script?
Nowadays, sometimes they'll make your movie and then just remove it. They'll just make your movie and then delete it and not release it and tell you, sorry, Brendan Fraser, it sucks to be you. You know?
Dude, yeah, that, what was it, Batgirl?
It was, I think it was Batgirl.
Well, what's his name? David Zaslav is like a piece of shit. The guy who's the head of, I guess he was the head of Warner Brothers, but now Warner Brothers is owned by Paramount or whatever. But like, he was like just deleting movies left and right. Like it was all about bottom line stuff. And then like he like shit all over Clint Eastwood, because Clint Eastwood has worked with Warner Brothers like his entire career. And then the last movie he had done like wasn't a box office hit. And I guess David Zaslav went in there and he was like, why do we still keep giving Clint Eastwood money? And everyone was like, because he's worked with us for 60 years and he's a beloved film. Like, why, you know, like, who, like, what's the issue? Like, and he's like, you know, it's like guys like that, just like, I don't know. It's that whole thing of like the capitalism and art.
Well, it's people who
how do you
don't
put it together.
And that's what I'm talking about. So this is the 80s, and he's talking about Karate Kid, and you extend that into the future that we live in now. And, you know, this idea that, you know, it's not, for the most part, it's not people who are passionate about writing a script that are getting to write scripts. Yeah. It's people who are hired to do a job that can do a certain type of thing. And so there's that, but there's also the fact that, you know, like, most of this industry is what people are willing to fund, and that's what it's always been. And then, you know, that's why I think the example of Karate Kid's so funny, because that's a pretty original film. Yeah. And he's using it as a standard. Right. And so you think about that now, like, where's all the original films you can use as a standard now? Like, everything is an IP or a previous thing that you have to, like, and if it's not, it's something that it probably doesn't have much funding. And if it does have a bunch of funding and it is an original IP, it stands out and people talk about it because of that. Like maybe like Sinners last year, or a lot of the movies that you see get mentioned at award shows. But it's not like there's a bunch of these movies like there was in the year 2008. Like 2008, you look at it, just look at how many amazing movies there were. Yeah. Now it's like you get some. And it's just weird to me that the standard is even that much lower. Because it's not like you can't make original IP movie. It's that the people who put money into things for some reason you just can't convince them it's a good idea. Right. And but it's not like, and I think that audiences have been dumbed down and they do watch worse things. Yes. But they're still smart. It's not like the audience wouldn't still like a good thing. Yeah. They've just been tricked into thinking these bad things are okay.
Well, also, every big movie's a kid's movie now. Yeah. Like everything's for kids.
So when I saw Thor 4, I saw it with my mom and the other kids. And with my mom and my nieces and nephews, and I'm thinking like, oh, this movie is gonna be like, I think I don't even think I saw the other Thor movies. Yeah. I think it was my first Thor movie. No, I saw Thor Ragnarok. That was my first one. Yeah. So and Thor Ragnarok was good. Yeah. But I was thinking, you know, I know how they've been doing this funny Thor thing, but I didn't think it was going to be that. And it literally is a kid's movie in the sense that, you know, spoiler alert, for the next 30 seconds at the end of Thor 4, I know that's crazy. You don't want to hear that. But at the end of the movie, it's a bunch of fucking kids that save the day. It's literally kids. The message of the movie is, kids, you can save the day. Right. It's a kid's movie.
But here's the thing. Thor 4, kids movie or not, like, all superhero movies are to some extent kind of a kid's movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that the mythos of a superhero movie, like, you could take it serious and you can enjoy it in a serious way, just like you can enjoy a lot of comedy movies in a serious way.
I'm not demeaning it by saying it's a kid's movie, but I'm saying pre-Star Wars. Star Wars comes out in 1977. Before that movie, like the big blockbuster, like The Godfather was a blockbuster movie. Yeah. You know, people were like around the block for that movie, and that would never fucking happen today. And it's like, that is like, it feels like adults still go out to watch stuff that's like, we're making kids movies for adults now, you know? And I think Dark Knight is partially to blame for this. And Dark Knight's a great movie, but like, and Christopher Nolan in general, he makes big blockbuster movies that are also like very serious and weighty. Yeah. And so people watch it and they feel mature. And then you're like, oh, you can make kids movies for me, you know? And it's like even adult movies are for kids now, I think.
I think Zack Snyder does that. But I also think that you could make the argument that it's like more true to comics to be so non-serious. Sure. And so I don't like how silly those movies are. Like, I did not I didn't even watch the recent Superman movie, but I've seen enough to know that I'm not going to like that.
Sure.
I just don't, because it's Zack Snyder being Zack Snyder. It's not a Superman movie. It's Zack Snyder doing Zack Snyder on Superman.
Yeah.
It's like if Zack Snyder, it was like a
You're
cover
talking about
band.
like the Batman versus Superman movie?
Or maybe, am I getting his name wrong? I think I'm getting
James
the name
Gunn
wrong.
did the
James
newest.
Gunn.
Yeah,
So
he's the
I'm mixing
Guardians
up his
guy.
names.
Yeah.
So James Gunn is who I'm talking about, because he's doing all these new movies. Like I think he's doing Supergirl now.
Yeah.
And to me, he's just doing the Guardians of the Galaxy thing over and over and over.
Sure. Right.
And it's a studio thing again. It's that the studios like that sells, and so they want him to keep applying that to other films.
Yeah,
and it's like, just make the Superman movie. Don't make the Superman movie that you think is going to sell more because it's like the other movies.
Here's the
make
thing.
the Superman movie that's like a good, true to the character Superman movie. And I don't think they're interested in that.
I will say, no,
all.
I saw it and I actually thought it was pretty shitty.
You liked
character. I like, at least I liked it fine. I'm not like that much of a superhero guy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, as far as a Superman movie, it reminded me of like the Christopher Reeve, like an actual like optimistic like type of character.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like Zack Snyder was kind of like trying to make Superman something he wasn't.
Superman,
you know?
like moody Superman.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be. I don't know. I'm like, but also it's another thing where it's like it's fucking Superman. Like I'm like, you think about like Joker, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was going like, oh, Joker is like. And Joker just rips off Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. Like it plagiarizes half of Scorsese's filmography. And I'm like, what's crazy is back in the day, you could have made that movie and it didn't have to be a Joker movie. You know, you could just make a movie about like a guy spiraling, and
you know what's so
that
funny?
could be a great. But now it's like, to make that movie, it has to be based on like a comic.
I really think that Joker is literally. It's like if you got the director of The Hangover to direct Taxi Driver. That's literally what it is.
It is, yeah.
And it's funny because when I
it's like Taxi Driver if he said the point of the movie out loud. Like, what is it at the end of it? He just goes like, he's like, hey, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill guy with a society that doesn't care about? I'm like, oh, great. In case we didn't understand what the movie's about, he says it to us, you know. Because he's counting on fucking, you know, like man children who only watch superhero movies are gonna go see this, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So when I saw that movie in theaters, and I remember when I saw Joker, I thought I was gonna like it, and I remember going out of the theaters, and I was okay.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking like, that's not quite what I thought it was gonna. Like, I just didn't think that was quite what I thought it was gonna be. I thought that it kind of stuck the landing just stylistically at the end. Like, stylistically, it was cool, and it had like a solid bang for an ending. Like, it felt like it was all leading to something going off, and then it goes off, and oh, look at that. And but then I saw Taxi Driver for the first time in my life. And I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, because I'd already known that people said it's like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, but I thought, how different, how much of King of Comedy could it take? Because it's already so much Taxi Driver. And then I watched King of Comedy, I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally you took the guy from
both of those movies.
No, not only that. You took the guy from King of Comedy and made him the other character from King of Comedy.
Yeah, they make him the Jerry Lewis role, basically.
On purpose.
Yes, yeah.
And then you acted like you were being original when you made the Joker movie.
I loved...
why don't you just acknowledge you're just remaking Taxi Driver? Say you're remaking Taxi Driver. Just say that. It kind of makes it better.
Every year they do these like director roundtables where they'll have like directors who made big movies that year, and they have them do like a roundtable together. And I remember that year they did a roundtable, and Todd Phillips was there, and so was Scorsese, because he had made The Irishman.
That's funny.
And
he made his movie.
Yes. And Todd Phillips goes, now... I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm inspired quite a bit by like movies that you've made. And Scorsese's just staring straight through him. It's just like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, no shit. What are you talking about? You know?
Because what does Scorsese probably think about that? You know, you got to wonder, like, how does he feel?
Well, he's
about
probably
that?
thinking, he's like, I already made that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
and he made it so much better.
I'm flattered you like the movie, but like, I made it already. Why'd you make it again?
And it's like one of the most iconic movies of his career.
Yeah.
And one of the most iconic movies ever. I mean, Taxi Driver is probably in my top 10, maybe my top 5, but in my top 10 for sure.
Yes.
Because I remember when I first saw Taxi Driver, it blew me away.
Yeah,
I didn't even know movies could be like that type of thing. Like, it's the perfect incel movie in the sense that I think it humanizes that type of mentality. Like, you actually understand the Travis Bickle character, and you kind of feel crazy like him.
And it's a cautionary tale, too.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
It's like anybody could become this guy given the circumstances, you know?
And you know, it's interesting that I think it's so ahead of its time in that, it's kind of a timeless film in that, and its approach, it's timeless.
Well, it's like you could look at any school shooter, and that's Travis Bickle.
Exactly.
Like it's incredible how much that, like how many guys on fucking 4chan are
and the movie's
Travis
centered
Bickle.
around a political shooting.
Right.
I mean that he's going to do a political shooting, and then he just happens to be a savior at the end anyway.
Yes. That he by accident he's a hero. You know,
and you're just supposed to like him.
Yes. A movie that did Taxi Driver pretty well. Did you ever see Observe and Report with Seth Rogen?
Yes, that's Taxi Driver.
It's basically doing Taxi Driver.
I saw
again.
it a long time ago.
It does a simple, because I remember going into that and I thought it was gonna be like Mall Cop, because it's also a movie about a mall cop. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a goofy comedy.
I thought it was gonna be like Seth Rogen weed smoking mall cop.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's like a dark comedy that's like very. It feels more like Taxi Driver than like Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Really?
If you rewatch it, you'll see it. It's
I remember bits and pieces of that movie.
yeah, it's great. I think it's underrated.
Who else is Aziz Ansari's in that?
I think he's in that. Yeah,
I know there's
Ray
a flasher.
Liotta's in it.
There's a flasher in the movie.
There's a flasher.
The flasher is a big part of the
Yes,
plot.
yeah.
I
Anna
think he's
Faris.
the driving force of the plot.
He's the
flasher.
villain. Yeah, he's the primary antagonist. Is the flasher.
Of course he is. I also remember a fight scene with there's like. I don't want to spoil anything because I think I just remember bits and pieces of this movie, but I guess it's not much of a spoiler. But I remember he's on a block and he's got like nunchucks or some type of baton, and a bunch of dudes are coming at him, and it's like a scene from The Matrix where he's just fighting them all off.
Yeah, it's like a heroic, like it's like over the top. How silly it is. Yeah.
So I know I must have seen a lot of this movie, but it's like what I've noticed the way that my brain remembers movies. It's weird because I can remember song lyrics pretty well, like almost like muscle memory, but movies. And I've seen people recite lines from movies, like whole monologues and stuff like this. I can watch a whole movie and forget it. Like I can watch a whole movie and watch it like 5 years later and be like, whoa, I don't remember most of this.
Sometimes I'll be like, somebody will be like, have you seen this movie? I'm like, I've not seen that movie. And I'll like look at the trailer. I'm like, nope, did not see that movie. And then I check my Letterboxd and I'm like, oh, I watched it 6 years ago.
So that's how I know I keep doing this, because I'll have that happen to me. And recently, the most recent one is I saw Ford versus Ferrari, and I was scrolling through on Netflix. I was like, oh, I'm going to check this out. I watch it, and sometimes like a couple parts during the movie, I thought, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, there's no way, because this is like an hour and a half, 40 minutes into the movie. I couldn't have seen this. Maybe I saw it on cable once. Maybe I looked over, I saw this on cable.
Right.
And then when I went to go log it, I saw, oh my God, I watched this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I kind of remembered because I saw that.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because I was literally like thinking about how I always do that with other things anyway, and then it happened to me again. I didn't even know I was doing it. So I'm sure there'll be another one sometime soon where it's like I don't even know how I can forget. I feel like it's kind of a blessing.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you the
Dude,
you can
you're
rewatch.
You're Drew Barrymore in 51st Days. Just being surprised by the Sixth Sense every single day. Like, whoa.
Yeah, but then it like blows my mind when people can remember like I can remember a movie if I just watch it and it's on the top of my mind, it's fresh. But like if you ask me about a movie I watched 3 years ago, it'd be so hard for me to like have an in-depth conversation. I think, unless I love that movie. Yeah. I mean, do you have like, I mean, you do a movie podcast. So I mean, for one, you should tell, I don't even know what your movie podcast is called. What is it called?
It's called We Are Movies.
We Are Movies.
Yes. Available wherever you get podcasts.
So all the streaming services.
Yes.
Folks.
All the streaming services, Total Synergy. Been doing that since I was in college. That was just like a passion project. And then I do Chinese Rocket Force because I love my best friend. And so that's why.
And the movie one, like you were telling me before, so you have different guests and they'll pick a movie and they come on and it's whatever movie they picked. And so do you just watch the movie beforehand?
Yeah, I'll watch it beforehand. And then if it's been a while, I'll like, if I've seen it, I'll like rewatch it. Yeah. You know? So it's fresh.
Do you find yourself reserving your opinion sometimes? Or like, do you find yourself like if someone didn't like a movie and you liked it, do you find yourself like, I don't know, almost being offended?
Well, if they're picking the movie, it means they like it.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, and I've had people pick movies that I didn't really like. Like I've watched it and I'm like, this is the movie that you're like, but then that's the basis of the podcast, is me like seeking to understand from them what they see in it, you know? And I don't ever want to bring somebody on and tell them your favorite movie sucks, you know? I want to bring them on and be like, okay.
Tell them to pick their favorite.
Right. Or a movie that's important to them in some way, you know? And so usually it's like a childhood movie or like a movie that like, you know, like a turning point in their life or whatever. But I'm like, so if I don't really like it, it makes it more interesting because I'm kind of like really trying to draw out of them like, okay, well, help me see what you see,
Right.
and so I'm kind of like, I don't know, because like if somebody loves something, then it has value. I don't think, like if at least one person loves a thing, then it has a right to exist, I think.
I think so.
So,
well, I think like to
even
me,
if I don't like it,
that's what makes art meaningful. Like if I do anything at all, what really makes it valuable is if someone else gives their own meaning to it.
Right.
That's what makes it mean something. Not like you can't really make art in a vacuum in the sense that what is art? Like what makes art meaningful? Probably the response that art gets.
Right.
Yeah,
it's impact on
impact.
people.
And that's like, I remember one time I talked to a guy, speaking of Paul Blart. Remember, it was at
you're talking to Kevin James.
He's talking to Kevin. It was actually him as KG. But I was in a dispensary, and it was a guy, he worked there, and I remember he was telling me that he would watch Paul Blart, I want to say Mall Cop 2, but it could have been the first one, but I think it was the second one. And he would watch it every single night. It was like his comfort movie. And when he was depressed, it was like the movie that pulled him out of a depression, and it kept him going. And it kind of like made me realize, so it could be anything.
Yeah.
Like, it could really be anything for anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be good. It could be, because to him, that movie was everything.
Yeah.
That movie was all he needed. And to me, that's just some... That I mean, if it was the second one, I mean, that's even crazier.
The second one's nuts. That is insane. But I also think sometimes in your lowest moment, it's the stupidest thing that wins you over.
And you don't know. Who knows why it means that to him exactly?
He might not even fully know.
He might not even fully know, yeah. And I think, to me, I think that's what's interesting about talking to different people, and I think that's what makes me what I am. But I've always tried to figure out, like, how am I capable of doing this? Because... I mean, I don't think most people can talk to people that are so different. I don't think most people can do that. Like people that are like vary in so many degrees, because I think like when you don't have much in common with somebody, most people don't know what to say or do or what to default to. And I think that you just have you have to have a natural curiosity. And I think like if someone brings up a topic and they care about this topic, or they have this movie and you don't like this movie, but they do. Yeah. Like the worst thing you could do is say, oh, well, that thing sucks, Like, even if I say Barbie sucks and I find out someone likes Barbie, I'm not going to tell them, oh, their opinions. I'm gonna try to give them credit. And I'm going to try to give them, I'm trying to say, oh, well, I think you're right, and I think this is right. Because I'm going to try to do my best to make them understand, like, I don't care if they... Because the worst thing you could do is make somebody think... that, like, you just shut people down. And I think people do that without even realizing. And I think I just try to, like... I've learned that I think if you just have as open of an approach as possible, I think people will say the most things to you. I guess that's the simplest way I could put it.
I think there's a problem with a lot of people is people don't want to accept that there are things they don't see, or don't understand.
But people are more honest with you, and they'll show you more things that you don't understand or don't see.
If you show curiosity.
Yes, like you'll see more of that if you seek it out. But if you close yourself off, people don't want to share with you, and you think it doesn't exist.
Well, it's like sometimes I'll watch a movie that I don't care for, but it's interesting to me.
And
I'm just like, well, like, why was it like this?
And do you have like an example?
So I just watched, me and Nick Oldershaw just went to the Music Box Theater, and we saw a screening of Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Okay.
Which was like famously a bad movie. Like everyone shit on it for years.
When did that come out? Because when was the original Exorcist?
It came out in 1977, same year as Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
We watched it first they showed a documentary called Borman and the Devil, which is about the making of the movie and how it was this huge disaster. But the director, John Borman, is this like great filmmaker. He made like Deliverance and like Point Blank, like a lot of classic movies. And then like Exorcist 2 was just this famous failure, and it kind of came out in this year where like people wanted different stuff, where everything changed when Star Wars came out. And I never liked that. I watched Exorcist 2 when I was 12, and I hated that movie.
Yeah.
And I loved Exorcist 1. And then rewatching it now, like with that context and like older, I'm like, I think it's fascinating. I think he makes really interesting choices that like puzzle me. And I'm like watching it, I want to find out why. Is
it like the same people working on the movie?
No, different director. So William Friedkin made Exorcist 1. John Borman made Exorcist 2. And an interesting thing is...
like different writers and all this,
yes,
too.
And John Borman didn't like Exorcist 1, is like an interesting thing. And he wanted his sequel to be like the Exorcist, which is like, of course it was gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, it
like,
never goes good.
But it's a passion project, you know. And so and like that's what makes me kind of interested in it. And I can't bring myself to say I hate it, but I'm like, I don't like it still. Like it doesn't like scare me. It doesn't work as a movie in my opinion. But I am watching it, like having this experience of just like, oh, there's a lot of choices in here that are weird, and I'm interested. You know, I'm kind of interested in knowing why he did this, and then like Nick Oldershaw likes the movie a lot, and like I'm interested in like hearing, and he explains to me like what he likes about it, and I see it, like I understand what he sees.
I've seen I saw Hellboy, and then I think I saw
which Hellboy, the David Harbour, or like the old
the original,
the Guillermo
one.
del Toro.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I saw one more Guillermo del Toro movie. I think I saw two of them. I think maybe it wasn't Hellboy 2.
Was it Blade 2?
No, maybe Hellboy was the only one I saw, but I want to say I saw two of them. I'm gonna try to see if I can just pull up his movies and it'll pop right up, because I feel like I saw another one and nope. That's probably the only one I saw. But I get the sense that I think like I know what his thing is. And I don't really think I like his thing.
He likes monsters.
Yeah.
He's really into monsters.
And it's one of those things where it's exactly what you're talking about, where like, I get it. I know people love this, and I know it's popular, and it's tried and true, and there's no way it's not, like, you know, it works.
Was it Shape of Water? Was that the one you watched?
I saw Hellboy.
Oh, okay.
But his approach to Hellboy, and I think I must have seen a little bit of something else that I just can't remember the name of, because I thought I had seen another one of his movies. But I just I get it. I get how this works. He likes to like turn animals into people and put like Christian iconography into things, and he's like fantasy like, and there's this mystical element to it almost, and it's big and lots of prosthetics and all this. I get it. All right.
I do love practical effects.
I just don't. Maybe it's just not hitting with me. I don't know. But because I feel like when I watch his next movie, it's gonna be the same exact thing. And I've heard a couple people say this. They're like, oh, I just don't really like Guillermo del Toro that much. Right. And I think that's what it is. Maybe it's just not that thing working. But, and because like monsters, that's exactly like monsters being humans and that whole like monster humanity thing. And I don't know. One thing that was interesting about Hellboy, at least, was that it was a comic book movie in the age of like comic book movies still being born. Yeah. So that's that.
It was during that like X-Men Blade era, like, you know, like, and I'll be honest, I prefer the comic book movies from that era. Like, I love Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies.
They were, how would you put it? It was before you had all this universe bullshit. Right. Because as soon as that started to happen, that's when you get all this studio involvement stuff where everything has to be written in such a way.
It has to fit this larger universe. But it's like Sam Raimi made Spider-Man and he got to just make it a Sam Raimi movie. Like, you know, those movies are so distinctly him. Mm-hmm. And we're both Michigan guys. Like Sam Raimi was, when I went to MSU, he started the film club that's still there when I was there, you know? And so we all kind of like, everybody in like, you know, who was in film classes at MSU, we all kind of worshipped him. But it's like, that was the example of a guy who made a big budget IP movie, but he still made it his own, you know? And that's like, I'll take Spider-Man 2 over any MCU Marvel movie.
It's so good. I mean, Spider-Man 3 even is great, but it just it had too many things happening at once.
It had too much stuff. It's not a perfect movie.
But as a Sam Raimi film, it's excellent.
Yes,
like the moment, like the dark Spider-Man moments in that movie are probably like, some of the best stuff ever.
He's dancing. No, people would watch that and they go, "This is so bad," and they're laughing at him. Like, it's supposed to be funny. Mm-hmm. Like you are supposed to laugh at it. The idea is like Tobey Maguire is such a fucking dork.
Did you see his recent movie, Send Help?
I did. I liked that.
I liked it a lot. Yeah. And it's the same thing where it's like his movies are very tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. That's the point. Like, it's not supposed to be realistic. It's supposed to be silly.
Evil Dead 2 is a Three Stooges movie.
Yeah.
With skeletons and gore, you know? Like
Three Stooges with gore is great. Yeah. It is what it is. Because, I mean, like, I think that if you go into something like that and you don't realize, I mean, what worked so well with Spider-Man is that since it was, again, that era of those movies being born, it was a great way to even portray a comic book-esque thing on film.
Yeah.
You know? And it's cool that they ended up bringing him back into the fold with Doctor Strange, because I didn't love that movie, but I think Sam Raimi's direction was perfect.
I was pleasantly surprised that it had quite a few Raimi-isms.
I mean, like so many, like, I think there was a cut where they zoom into an eye and it becomes something else.
Doctor Strange becomes a fucking zombie at the end. He shows up and like, that's awesome. Like, I love, like, he reminded me, and the way he's talking, like, it reminded me of like Darkman. Like,
I forgot about the zombie thing. They did a zombie thing and sent help to for no reason.
There's like an Evil Dead Deadite for like 1 second. And it screams at the camera.
There would be no reason for that other than it being a Sam Raimi film. Another person whose movies I need to get into, but they're obviously so distinct, is Wes Anderson. Like, you could just tell a Wes Anderson movie apart. And I've never watched... I think I watched Moonrise Kingdom a long time ago. And I liked that movie, but I didn't fully get it. But it was, again, one of those things where it's like, oh, this is probably like how this director works, and maybe if I watch another couple of these movies, maybe I'll like it more, maybe I'll get it better, maybe I can go back to this movie later and it'll make more sense to me, because it seems like his movies have to the point where he almost parodies himself with his latest films, is my understanding.
Yeah, his movie, they get more and more like that.
Yeah.
If you watch him, because like his first couple movies like Bottle Rocket, Royal Tenenbaums, they feel more like normal movies, but with some of that, like that flair and that like characters being stoic, or like the big colors and stuff. Like there's a bit of that, and then as he keeps going, it just becomes more and more that style, you know. But by the time you get to his newest movie, it's like, you know, it feels insane. It feels like
it's like an alternate universe.
I can only imagine if you've never seen a Wes Anderson movie, if you've never heard of him, if you know nothing about him, and then you just watch his latest movie as just a movie, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like that's but that's fascinating to me. But I'm like, I watched like all of his movies from the beginning, so I kind of saw the gradual.
And that's exactly my thing. That's what I'm saying. I think I saw a movie in the middle, and I think I should go back and probably start like a Royal Tenenbaums. That would probably make a lot more sense.
Yes, yeah. Well, because Royal Tenenbaums, it's kind of got that Wes Anderson shit, but then like Gene Hackman is at the center of it, and he's giving like very naturalistic performance, like he's a great. At that point, like a veteran actor, and you're not going to tell Gene Hackman what to do. Like Wes Anderson's like this stringy-haired 24-year-old directing that movie. It's like you can't tell him what to do. You know. And so, but then as he kind of gained more power as a director, he was kind of more, no, this is what I'm doing.
Right. I think it's like. That's an interesting thing with a lot of those directors who've been around forever. If you haven't really seen their original movies, you don't even really know. Like a Scorsese again, like with Taxi Driver, and then I just saw Raging Bull, and then Casino I hadn't seen. There's so many of his movies I just watched for the first time, and I feel like, but especially those first ones in the 70s, right? Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, I guess the early 80s. Yeah. Is there another one in the King of Comedy's in there?
King of Comedy's in there. Like Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. New York. We're all kind of
New York. Now that one was like right before Taxi Driver or before King of Comedy?
It was after Taxi Driver. Mean Streets was a really early one for him.
That was the first one.
Yeah. That was that came before Taxi Driver, because that was his first movie with De Niro.
See, and so that I haven't even seen. I'm sure that's where a lot of it gets established, right?
They always say Mean Streets kind of invented the needle drop in a movie. Like,
really?
It wasn't common to put popular music in a movie, in like a feature-length movie, and then that movie famously like has they drop Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones, and it rules. And it's like, and you're kind of like, without Mean Streets, like I don't even know if it would be a common thing to put popular music in movies, you know, or maybe it might have taken longer. And I think that's something like Scorsese's kind of known for. Like you think about like Goodfellas, half of the scenes you think about is like what song was playing in that scene. You think about like the Layla scene, or like the Gimme Shelter scene or something, you know?
I know I've seen a video where he's talking about it's the scene with De Niro, and he's sitting there at the bar. I can't remember what song it is exactly.
It's Sunshine of Your Love by Cream.
And that scene was written with that song in mind of like, this would be the moment where he realizes he can just do it all for himself.
Yeah,
and that song,
he's deciding to whack Maury in that scene, famously.
But you can tell just by the song and just by his face.
Yeah, yes.
Like those two things are all you need.
And specifically, like the meaning of the lyrics being like, "It's getting till dawn," and it's like, oh, we're moving towards something, and it's kind of ominous, you know. And I'm like, I love when a song kind of implies something, rather than like, I don't know, Suicide Squad uses it like, oh, we're playing sympathy for the devil because this character's bad.
Right.
And I'm like, all right. Like, you know,
you mean like when the lyrics apply to the situation?
Right, like too literally. Like when it's like, oh, we're cutting to New Orleans, so here's House of the Rising Sun because they say New Orleans in the song.
So there's a movie that I love that does that I kind of don't like when it does that. And you know the movie Magnolia, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah.
So there's that scene where they're all singing the song. And the song is like applying to all their situations and all that, but it's like to me.
But that feels funny. It feels like Paul Thomas Anderson's being funny.
Is he?
I think he
that
is.
What it is?
I think
maybe I didn't get it. I love that movie. That movie's also in my top 5.
Yeah,
for sure. But I remember watching that scene and just being like, "Is this like a 2000s thing? Like, did I just not? Do I just not remember what these years were like well enough?"
Did you see One Battle After Another?
Yeah,
he did, because the same director, Paul Thomas Anderson.
He's my favorite director.
Yeah,
other than so he's my favorite modern director, I should say. Like my favorite living director is Paul Thomas Anderson.
His use of dirty work in One Battle After Another like hits me in the soul. Like,
well, because he let it play for like a whole minute, like the whole beginning of the song,
and it comes as this breath of fresh air because it's right after you flash forward in time. So you had that long prologue, and then it's like you finally get like a breather, and you cut to like the girl now grown up, and then just that. And you're like, oh, and it's like he uses needle drops really well, I think.
So Magnolia is the movie where I kind of like got that idea of like the way that he edits with music. It's almost like a music video. With the way that Paul Thomas Anderson and music and the way that he uses music in his films, it gets to the point, especially with like Magnolia, I think in the very beginning, it's like you're intercutting between all these different characters and there's the song carrying you through that. Like it feels like the way you would edit a music video.
Yes.
It's the same exact type of thing. And that movie does that over and over and over and over and over again. And all his movies do that, really.
I also want to say, speaking of Magnolia, you talked about how Taxi Driver kind of predicted incel culture. Like Tom Cruise in Magnolia, he's literally the Andrew Tate.
Yes, he is.
Like his whole, it's insane how you watch that and you're like, there's 100 of those guys.
Tame the cunt.
Yeah. He's incredible in that movie. That's like, I'm dying for Tom Cruise to do something like that again.
Well, it's a shame because he doesn't do comedy much and he doesn't do villain roles much. And apparently he's so good at both.
His next movie is apparently a comedy. The one he's doing with Alejandro Inarritu.
Jodorowsky.
Yeah, Jodorowsky. That'd be awesome if he was working with Jodorowsky.
Alejandro Inarritu. Yeah. He did The Revenant.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah.
Which is I saw they did the trailer. So he's like a guy with a shovel or something.
Yeah, and then I guess he's fat and bald in it, so he's going back to like his Tropic Thunder look.
Right. And I thought, the Tropic Thunder look. And Tropic Thunder is the movie where you really realize he can do comedy that well.
Yes.
That's because I didn't even. That's one of those things you don't even know it's Tom Cruise if you didn't see that it was Tom Cruise until the end of the movie when they say it's Tom Cruise.
Right. I can't imagine because I watched that movie on DVD. Is it like long after it came out? And I knew Tom Cruise was in it. Like I knew about him. I'm like, I couldn't imagine. I'd give anything to be in the theater, not knowing Tom Cruise is in the movie, and kind of thinking like, is that no? Like, there's no way. And then at the end of it, saying "and Tom Cruise," and you're like, oh my god! Like I would love to have that experience.
I think that's what happened to me. I'm pretty sure when I watched it, I didn't know. And
that's awesome
because that's how they set it up in the film, right? Because at the very end, he says something, then he starts dancing, and the credits roll.
Yeah.
And then that's at the end of the credits, and Tom Cruise with him as he's dancing, implying that is him.
Right.
So that's where you get to connect the dots.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's really good prosthetics too. Yeah. You wouldn't know it's him looking at him.
He looks great. They made him look like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. And he basically is. And it's funny because he plays the role straight like any good dramatic actor in a comedy role would do. Right. He does play it completely straight.
An interesting thing, it's like dramatic actors are oftentimes great at comedy because they're all about commitment and intensity, you know? And then on the flip side of that, like comedians make great dramatic actors a lot if they're cast correctly, you know?
If they're cast correctly.
Right. Like we're like Robin Williams or like Jim Carrey and Eternal Sunshine, you know, like that type of Like if you use it, like Louis C.K. is good in stuff like American Hustle. You know, it's just like
I forgot he's in that.
Yeah, like you use a stand up correctly. Dave Chappelle in A Star Is Born is like great, and Andrew Dice Clay is great in A Star Is Born. Like you know, there's a good way to use stand-ups, I think.
Yeah. And then vice versa with the drama.
Well, yeah, with dramatic actors, like think about it. Like anytime a dramatic actor hosts SNL, and like when Adam Driver's hosting SNL, he's so funny.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot different than like a comedic actor where they're obviously doing it for laughs, or they have like a certain bit that they do.
Well, that's the difference.
It becomes the difference. Yeah, like a Ryan Reynolds, where you know he's going to be Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Like he's a comedic actor who you can always, like a Kevin Hart. Those are the two people I feel like everybody knows. Those two ones. You know what a Kevin Hart's going to look like in a movie. You know what a Ryan Reynolds is going to look like in a movie.
Yeah.
You already know what the movie is when you see the poster.
Right.
And that's kind of been like ever since Deadpool. Yeah. And I don't know where it started with Kevin Hart. That would be a good question. Yeah, he was in the scary movies early on, but that wasn't. That was like
star.
You see him in the movie, you're like, wait, that's like Kevin Hart pre-Kevin Hart.
Yeah. I watched a superhero movie on Tubi the other day, and he's in that, and I was just like, oh shit, he's like Drake Bell's buddy in that movie.
Wow. See, I've been meaning to rewatch that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know. There's probably a lot of actors in that where you're like, oh, I didn't know they were in this.
There's quite a few. Yeah. Tracy Morgan's in it. But I was gonna say, I think for Kevin Hart, it was like Think Like a Man. Like it was like he started just kind of getting big supporting roles.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what his first big like lead thing was, but like I mean he was co-starring it, like maybe like Ride Along.
Oh yeah.
You know, Ride Along, Central Intelligence. Like it was always like pair him with like a cooler, bigger guy.
Yeah.
That was kind of the shtick.
He got so big so fast.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah, no, he like exploded overnight.
Yeah, because I mean like it almost doesn't even make sense, because I guess there probably isn't like one particular movie. It probably is just like the buddy cop, like the pairings that he did that made him so popular. That probably is more so what it was.
Because if you ask people what's the Kevin Hart movie, they'll probably have different answers. Like some will say like Jumanji, you know, like it's everyone's gonna have like their own. Because I don't think he has that. Like if you think of like Eddie Murphy, there's a turning point for Eddie Murphy. There's like he had like 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, like that was what made him. But I don't know if I think Kevin Hart, it was just like a lot of supporting roles, and then one day he was a leading man. You know?
Yeah, right. Whereas and you could even probably argue that the comedy films and the way comedy films used to be, there were a lot more big comedy films and like notable leading men in comedy films.
Well, they don't really make those anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like that's the thing is like if you saw on SNL now, if you're on the SNL cast, you're straight to like a T-Mobile ad or something. Like that's what your career is going to look like.
The height of comedy.
That's the height of comedy. Is you get to be in T-Mobile ads forever. You know.
I mean, I think it's if you're trying to do it like if you're trying to be successful on paper, I guess.
Right, because they're not making movie star vehicles that are comedies like they used to. Like you know, you think about like Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, you know, Eddie Murphy, whatever. They all went straight from SNL into like starring in these movies, and they just don't make them. Like the last one was maybe Bridesmaids. You know, in terms of like.
And that was 2018.
That was earlier than that. Bridesmaids was like 2010, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah,
it can't be that old.
Because like Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph were like fresh off of SNL, I think at that time, or maybe they were still on SNL.
2011.
2011, yeah. Yeah.
What a nightmare.
Yeah, we were 12 years old when that movie came out.
Because that movie was great. And I mean, like, it is probably the tail end of it, because Knocked Up and all those movies, those were great, but that was right before the end.
Yeah.
I think This Is the End was the last big one. I was like the last hurrah of all those movies. That was probably 2011, 2012.
What do you think was like the last great comedy you saw that was like a straight comedy? Like not like an action comedy, but just like a...
In terms of when it came out?
Yeah.
I liked the movie Blockers. I liked that movie.
Blockers was fun.
I thought it was fun. It reminded me of those movies I just talked about. Yeah, where it's like, oh, this is kind of like a raunchy premise.
Yeah.
And they're not really holding back in the way they're approaching it. Like they are addressing it head on and being funny about it.
Yeah.
Like that's a fun way to approach this kind of movie. Like it's three parents who are trying to stop their kids from having sex. So they're following them throughout the night and then they end up having to do a bunch of shit they shouldn't be doing. Yeah. That's a funny premise. And then the movie doesn't like take it lightly and not try to a lot of modern movies I feel like would take that type of premise and then try to be careful, and I don't think the movie really did that. It kind of reminded me of how like a Knocked Up would have approached that same type of topic. So I like that, but that movie didn't do super well and it didn't make a bunch of money. So I don't know, but I thought that was good. I remember watching it thinking, oh, this is nice. This is actually the kind of comedy I want to see.
And it leans on the natural charisma of the stars, like, you know, John Cena, Ike Barinholtz, Leslie Mann. They're all great, you know, and so it's easy to make them funny.
And that's how all those movies should be. I mean, that's what most comedy movies really should be, in my opinion. That's what made those classic comedy movies so good.
Right.
Was that, I mean, especially like a Robin Williams, right? Where you look at it's
all built on him. Like if you don't have him, you don't have the movie. Right?
And the reason you even want to do it is because of him. Like it's that natural charisma, and it's that they make the characters what they are, you know? Like, and it's interesting how in earlier comedy films, it was more like bit humor and more like, it almost seems like, and I'm pretty sure this is what it was, that they would just kind of present an idea of a scene to a comedian and say, hey, this is kind of what you're doing. And then they would just go off of that. Where now it's not that at all. Now it's like they're not inspiring you to riff and telling you to do all this stuff and like expecting that in a comedic role. Whereas like you look at all these classic Robin Williams roles, and that's what he was. Now he kind of like, he did that no matter what it was.
Right.
He kind of just got away with it. But I mean, that was
cocaine.
Jim Carrey. You could look at him too, right? Where it's like a lot of those early movies was like Jim Carrey having the script as a skeleton, but really just doing Jim Carrey.
Well, it was a vehicle.
Yeah.
It was a vehicle for this guy. It was like, what's the next Jim Carrey vehicle? What's the next thing that's going to showcase everything that he does? Yeah. And he had that like triple punch of like Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, and Ace Ventura. Yeah. And in, like in that one, like, you know, that stretch, I think it was all 1 year.
It was crazy.
Everyone was just like, oh shit, like this guy does this really well.
Because the Dumb and Dumber came after, and I remember that was part of like how much he got paid for Dumb and Dumber. That's like a big story. They had to up how much he got paid so much because Ace Ventura did so well. Yeah. Like, I think I want to say he turned them down at first, and then they turned him down or something, and then they had to offer him way more money they were originally going to offer him. Like, it was one of those things.
He was definitely getting paid way more than Jeff Daniels was at the time. There's no way, you know? Yeah, comedy star Jeff Daniels.
which, you know, watching that movie, if you didn't know that, you wouldn't even know.
Right, because he's never done anything else like that.
He's so natural in it.
Right, because like Jeff Daniels is like an Aaron Sorkin guy. Like, he's like a dramatic actor, and then for one like glorious day, he just... he did this, like the total opposite of everything else he's done.
It's funny because it's the opposite of playing it straight too. Like, he's not playing it straight at all.
No.
He's going above and beyond.
Yeah, I guess it's the central conceit of that movie is it kind of breaks the stereotypical comedy duo, which it's not a straight man and a crazy man. It's dumb and dumb. Like there's no there's no grounding character between the two of them.
There is no. The straight men are all the people they encounter throughout the film.
Right. There's various straight men that come and go. You know,
maybe that's the difference, right?
Yeah,
you just extend the straight man outward. I mean, that movie does it so well. That's probably one of the best comedies of all time. I think I could say that without any like hyperbole. I think Dumb and Dumber kind of the perfect template for what a comedy movie can do.
And every time I go back to that movie, I'm like, there's no way this movie's that funny. Because I'm like,
so funny.
But then every time I watch it, I'm like, oh no, yeah, all of this lands, and it's a weird specific thing you have to strike because there's so many crazy guy comedies. Like imagine like the Pauly Shore movies or whatever that suck. And you're just like, they just nailed something where you're like, it's just the right amount of everything.
I think
they hit the right lines.
Them, because it's like, I think it's the same thing as like how Steve Carell has to be the boss in The Office. Like you can have that character, but only Steve Carell can have that charisma that sells this horrible person to you, that makes you want to watch this horrible person. Yeah. Because I mean, like, it's the same thing where I think like you could have given those roles to anybody else, but I don't think anybody would have breathed life into them in that way.
And also their hearts were in it, you know. Like I think a comparison I sometimes use is Tommy Boy versus Black Sheep. So like Tommy Boy's a great comedy, and Chris Farley and David Spade are such an iconic duo. Yeah. And their hearts are in it, and it's fresh, and it's like their first time doing that. And then when they put them together again for Black Sheep, it's like, it's kind of a retread. They're trying to do the same thing, but you can just tell their hearts aren't quite as in it, and it doesn't land as well, you know? So it's also kind of about the right moment, like getting them at the right moment too. Yeah. Because then also like Dumb and Dumber 2 came out like 20 years later, and you could tell it wasn't quite the same, you know?
I think, wasn't that movie pretty bad?
It wasn't great.
I think I remember seeing it and being bummed out.
I think it's fine. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but it's like, I mean, it's...
And they did a prequel not long after the first one.
Dumb and Dumberer, when Harry met Lloyd. Yeah. Dude, that fucking fooled me at Blockbuster when I was a kid. I remember seeing a poster.
Downloading an album on LimeWire and it's not even the right band. Yeah.
It's like made to fool people, because I was a kid, I didn't know who Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels were, and so I didn't realize they were different actors. And then as I was watching it, I was just kind of like, this isn't the same thing. I was like, these guys are different, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And it's kind of like, you know, those asylum movies, like like Snakes on a Train.
Sharknado.
Yeah, but they would do these rip-off movies like...
Well, that's the origins of Sharknado. Right. Most people don't realize Sharknado came from a studio that would just do these derivative horror movies.
Before they struck gold with Sharknado, they would do like Transmorphers or some shit. And it was made to like...
It's funny because it's not even a joke. It's a real movie.
It's a literal movie. Yeah, let's look it up. Snakes on a Train was a real movie they made. And it was made to like confuse grandmas that were renting, like it's all a sham. They weren't even trying to make a real movie. It was
hey, son, I got you Transformers.
I got you that Transmorphers movie you want. And the kid goes, "Fuck you, grandma. This isn't the right movie." And that's they just made it to create domestic disturbances between grandmas and their grandsons.
Yeah,
you know,
because that's literally the trick. Yeah, I remember one time my dad rented a movie from or he used to buy the movies from the library, and he bought Pirates of the Caribbean. But I remember looking at the box, and it was actually about like the actual pirates of the Caribbean.
That's funny.
This is fucking ridiculous.
That's awesome. It's like a documentary about them.
It's like, Dad, you did not look closely at this when you got it.
That's so funny. Yeah, the same thing. I wanted to see Titanic as a kid. My parents got me a documentary about Titanic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
There's got to be some rule. There's got to be some like way of identifying.
At what point can you get sued? You know, for like
I thought this was a James Cameron film, and all of a sudden I'm learning about the design of the boat.
Right. You know? But then the plot twist is I got super interested. I'm like, oh, it's interesting. The design of this boat. Yeah,
it's so funny. Like you leave your kid alone to watch the Titanic, and 7 hours later he's talking about, they sent out like this many signals at this time and this time. Like, how the fuck do you know all this? Like, is that in the movie?
Right. Yeah. I just did my research by accident. You know?
Right. And then meanwhile, the kid thinks he saw the Titanic.
Dude, I wanted to watch Happy Feet and ended up watching March of the Penguins. That was the biggest misdirect.
Did you think that you saw Happy Feet?
I thought it was Happy Feet because I was like, I want to see the Penguin movie, and it was Happy Feet. And all my friends had talked about Happy Feet, and my parents rented March of the Penguins, which is a documentary about penguins.
Oh.
And I remember watching, I'm like, this is what all the kids are talking about? I'm like, okay. And I couldn't read, so I couldn't see the title at the beginning of it. And then I remember telling everybody, I was just like, yeah, Happy Feet it didn't have any of the parts you said it had. Like, I was like, you said they dance in it? And they weren't dancing? And for like years, I thought I had seen Happy Feet.
The other kids are like, this weirdo.
Yeah. I was like, I learned a lot about penguins.
They're thinking we all watch the same thing, and you're watching the movie thinking they're not dancing. Like, imagine how confused those other kids would be hearing you talk about Happy Feet. Like, what does he think Happy Feet was?
Yeah.
What does he think dancing is? What's wrong with this kid?
Yeah.
Back to school shooters. That reminds me, for some reason, I remember
back to school shooters,
because there was a kid in my school who I remember there was one time he said to another kid. It was one of those things where he said, and this is probably more common now because you look at the news, I guess. But there was a kid who said to one of the other kids, "Hey, like, I have guns at my house, and I have bombs at my house, and I have like a bulletproof vest in my house. He was saying stuff like that to the other kids, and he was already like one of these weird kids. I think he said it to my girlfriend's brother. I want to say that's what it was. And then he like had approached me and like, you know, that family and said like, hey, you know, he said this, what should we do? And like, I don't know. I just wonder how common of an occurrence that is.
Right.
Because I mean, obviously you should probably say something if that ever happens. That's, you know, nowadays more than ever.
Yeah.
But like, bro, to me, I try to be like forgiving of everybody. And like, if there's a kid that's weird, if there's a kid that does something out of the ordinary, I try to give benefit of the doubt always, because I want to understand people. I want to get to the bottom of why they think the way they think.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the best way of ever changing anything or changing the world or making people the way you want them to be. The only way you're going to do that is to understand them in the first place.
Yeah.
With that being said, what do you do in a situation like this?
Right.
You know,
What do you do? Yeah,
think you gotta not be so understanding.
Right.
That's the answer.
Or you have to be understanding and then say, but at the end of the day, you gotta do something about this.
I'm glad he didn't say it to me.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, what do you? I would nod and be nice.
Yeah.
But I would be thinking, it's like if somebody was like really aggressive, but you're just like hoping they don't punch you.
Yeah.
You know? You don't want to get on their bad side, type of thing.
So I was when Obama got elected, I was living in Texas at the time. I was 9 years old. I remember the morning after Obama won, this kid at assembly just starts going, "I'm going to assassinate Obama." No. He started saying it. And I was 9 years old. At assembly,
so how loud is he?
He was just
yelling?
saying to the people around him,
Okay.
you know? And
is he kidding? Is it not like obviously a joke?
Well, he's a fucking child. Like obviously he's not going to. But maybe, I don't know if he meant. But at the time, I was legitimately concerned. I was like, he's gonna assassinate Obama. And I went to the principal's office. I was like, hey, just this kid, like, the day after he said he was gonna assassinate Obama, and everyone was like, oh, thank you for telling us this. And then they ended up suspending him. I think because they saw it as like a hate speech, because it was like because he was black was the reason. But I didn't realize, like, I thought I saved Obama's life. And then I remember sitting watching the inauguration, and I was like, this fucker has no idea what I did for him.
Yeah.
It's like I'm the unspoken hero here.
Saved his life. I mean, you shouldn't say that. That reminds me of a kid I had growing up who they posted on Facebook as a joke, "Don't go to school tomorrow."
Yeah.
They did that thing.
Yeah.
Which, they were kidding.
Right.
But it's like, dude, what are you going to do? Like you say, it's kind of along the same line. You say you're going to assassinate Obama. Don't go to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. People are crazy. Like, I feel like if you were a kid growing up now, it'd be worse than even when we were in school.
Yes.
Because now people really are crazy. Like, they were already crazy back then.
Yeah.
But just look at the statistics, dude. People are crazier now.
Most people are crazy now.
Yeah.
At this point, what's crazy if everyone's crazy?
I don't understand the statistic that autism is like more common now than it used to be. Like that's an actual statistic.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I remember.
I think it's the red 40.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know what it is.
I have no idea.
There's got to be something.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's more our social. Maybe it's more social than we even understand it to be. Like maybe it has more to do with sociobiology than we understand.
Yeah.
Probably not because I don't think evolutionarily. I don't think evolution changes that fast.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's probably more of a social issue, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also maybe now we're just looking for it more than we were before. Like
that's a question
how many
that people
are
have,
self-diagnosing.
I think it's like the whole nonverbal autism thing. Like that's what they're talking about.
Oh, really?
Like,
Like
that's more
like
diagnosed.
not functioning.
Like kids with nonverbal autism. And so that makes me wonder. Like maybe it's social in the sense that we're less verbal with one another, and so it may be easier to develop a social issue like that. But autism's not social; it is biological.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
And that it is just the fact that that's an actual statistic to me is nuts. Like you can't deny it; it exists.
Yeah.
But what is it? That's the question. We don't know what it is. Why are there more autistic people? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're definitely more awkward though. We've definitely gotten more awkward. We
definitely are. Yeah, we're not socialized like we used to be.
Even the non-autistic people, all of us, we're all awkward.
I remember when I was a kid and I was first learning about what autism was. There was an autistic kid in my class named Graham, and Graham was so autistic. Like, he didn't put a sentence together. He would like mostly just shout Disney characters. Like he would just kind of like go around. He would like point at you and yell a Disney character's name, and I just remember like I watched Rain Man with my parents. Like my mom was like, "This is a great movie," and she put it on. And the point of that movie was autistic people are geniuses. And my mom was like, "Autistic people are actually like they're tapped into like a part of their brain that we're not, and they can see a lot more than we can." And I was like, "Whoa, Graham's a genius." And then I'd go back to school and I'd see him just going like, "Da Tinkerbell," and I was like, I guess he's a genius. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, he must be seeing something I don't. I mean, clearly this guy's smarter than I am. And then he also, I would never forget this, he would point at people and he would give them like a Disney character's name. Like he'd always be like, Aladdin. And he would like and then he would look at me and he'd go, Captain Hook. And I was like, fuck you, Graham. Like I was the only one who was a villain.
Yeah, it says something about what he thought of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I was the only one who didn't understand autism.
It's a Rorschach test kind of, he's going to each person saying who you guess, you're him to him, I guess.
Yeah.
See, like,
I'm going to lose my hand in a couple years. And it'll turn out he predicted the future.
Was fate.
Yeah.
All along. You're going to get this fear of alligators. You don't know where it came from.
Yeah, the alligator's going to swallow my watch and it's going to drive me crazy. Yeah.
But I mean, what always struck me, I mean, because there's the whole savant thing, and I remember learning growing up, there's the guy who he flew over New York, and he could draw most of New York after like a 20-minute flight. Like the view he had from the plane, he can draw most of it. And I think it just says a lot about how like your brain fills in gaps and how like maybe you're not like the way that we measure intelligence is really not accurate. And so if you might not be book smart, you might not be able to recite information, but the way that your brain works might be so fundamentally different than mine because your brain's just as big as mine. So your brain, I mean, there's people that aren't as intelligent as other people. There are people who make worse decisions, I suppose I should say. But I think people are just smart in a way that when you just even say the word smart, most people think of like, oh, can you memorize information and tell me about stuff? Yeah. And I don't think that's what smart is. Sure. So when I think about like, is an autistic person smart? That's kind of a complicated question because it's not really, I mean, it depends on what you think smart is. Yeah, smart. I think they're smarter than people in ways because I think they're more emotionally intelligent a lot of the time. Sure. Like you'd be surprised how down to earth autistic people and Down syndrome people tend to be because they don't worry about the type of shit that what you think smart people worry about.
I was watching, for the first time in my life, I was watching Love on the Spectrum last night. And I was like, these are the most sincere people.
Exactly.
They're like not shy of how they're I guess the cliche of an autistic person is they don't make eye contact or whatever. Yeah. And that they can't maybe communicate in certain ways, but it's like the people on the show are overtly communicating everything they think and feel, and they're not holding back. It's like this kid's going on a date with this like very pretty autistic girl, and he just keeps saying, "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I want to be with you forever." It's like the first date.
And what smart person do you see do something that sincere? Right. I feel like smart people are always like trying to be smart and dancing around.
They're being calculated.
Being calculated. Yeah. And so to me, there's more of a sincerity in all that. There's more of an honesty, and like I tend to find that that's just the way of the world. Like the so-called dumber people are the people I like to be around. Sure, they make me happy.
Well, yes, and the interesting thing is, if you look at it as like two autistic people talking to each other, the one person is so overtly honest with their feelings, and then also seeing as how autistic people tend to not be able to see social cues as much, maybe not see sarcasm or anything like that. Yeah. The other one appreciates that. They appreciate that they're being so direct because they're receiving the information very easily. Like if somebody says, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, I want to be with you forever," the beautiful woman who's also autistic is taking that in sincerity, and she's like, "Oh, thank you." Right. and whereas like, we were on a date with a girl, we're like trying to be more sly about it or something, and if she's not able to pick up on as many social cues, she might not even understand the compliment. You
ever see the show Community?
Yeah.
So the episode where they go to the bar and Abed's at the bar, and it's like I want to say season 3 maybe. Yeah. But Abed's at the bar and he's talking to a guy, and the guy's like flirting with him throughout the episode. Right, yeah. But Abed's autistic, and Abed doesn't realize that he's flirting with him. He thought the guy just really liked the stuff that he liked, and they were just having a really good conversation. Yeah, I do remember that. That's so funny. Funny thing is, like, and that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I probably wouldn't. I'm not saying I'm autistic, but I would say that I am the type of person who wouldn't know that someone's flirting with me, and I would genuinely think they just wanted to talk.
That's 100% happened to me.
Yes, like, that's a normal occurrence. For
I'm kind of that with everyone. Like, a girl could be taking off my belt, and I could be like, "Is she into me? Like, is she trying to fuck? I don't even know." You know, like
I mean, you familiar with Rick Glassman?
Yeah,
I've seen him say many times. I don't get this self-conscious, but I mean, like, I've seen him say, like, he gets so nervous and worked up about kissing a girl on a first date because, like, he doesn't want her to think that she has to kiss him because it's a first date. Like, I think that's probably a little bit overthinking, because I don't think people think that much about it. Like, people don't think as much about things as you might think about things. So being self-aware, that's important. But, like, at the same time, there's a little bit of that. There's an element of that. But I think, like, you know, like, sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes a girl's like dying to kiss you because she's so happy to be around. She's waiting for the moment, and she's so excited it's the first day. She doesn't feel forced at all. She's happy. If you have this idea in your mind, oh, you built up this structure of how people work, that could actually work to your detriment. So it goes both ways, I think. Right?
If I can give any advice to all the young men at home, all girls want them to kiss you. Want you to kiss them. So you just
every single one.
Every single one, dude.
Just go up to every girl.
If you're wondering if a girl wants you to kiss them, she does, and you should do it. And you should do it with tongue. And
when I was 10, I remember when I was 10, I thought, I can get any girl. I can get any girl ever.
Yeah.
I thought that when I was 10.
Yeah, dude, I was 10. I thought I had a chance with Anne Hathaway. I was like, if I just get a chance to talk to her, dude.
I was more thinking in my elementary school.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking adult women.
You were thinking big.
Adult women. I was like, if I just go up to her and I'm like, I loved you and Get Smart, I'd have her in bed like that.
Did you see the guy who went on Kill Tony and he was the Kim Congdon thing?
Yeah, he was like stalking Kim Congdon.
And it wasn't a bit.
Yeah, no, that was terrifying.
Yeah. For folks who think that Kill Tony is 100% rigged, that's a great example of that show. Like, if that's rigged, they're wild.
Yeah, no, that would be nuts. They'll
be nuts to rig that. Yeah, because it's hard to fake that kind of thing. So, because I mean, like, I've heard people say a million things about Kill Tony this, Kill Tony that, but a moment like that is very hard to present on purpose.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
Having done Kill Tony, when I did it, I thought it was rigged. Still,
a lot of people think
I thought it was rigged for me to get on because of various circumstances. And then,
oh, really?
Yeah, but then when I saw that guy go up, I was like, no, they did not plan this. Because Tony, it's one of the few times you actually see Tony kind of flustered and taken aback, and he doesn't quite know what to do with it, you know?
Because he's trying, I mean, it was Adam Ray, it was him, and it was Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Matt Rife was not comfortable at all. No. Adam Ray was trying to maintain the bit because he was doing the puppet thing, the ventriloquist thing. So he's trying to be funny with that, and then
and Tony's like, "We have our first stalker, everybody! Wow, you know." Like, but the thing about Kill Tony, it is bum fights. Yeah. You know, people watch that show mostly.
It's an open mic.
Yes, and mostly people watch it to see fucking freaks get on. And
I mean, I think what's cool about it is if you're somebody who's never been in the comedy community at all, you probably don't know what an open mic is like, and so that's a good exposure to open mics. The kind of I don't want to say problem, but it's become an animal of its own, though. In that there's people who are a fan of Kill Tony that aren't even a fan of stand-up comedy.
Yes.
So what is that?
And there's a lot of people that think that's what stand-up is.
And they want to become a Kill Tony comic.
Yes. Yeah. And Kill Tony is a specific brand of comedy.
Yep.
And there are good and bad Kill Tony like, out of all the regulars, there are some that I think are good and some that I think are bad.
Some of them I think are excellent.
Yes. I love Martin Phillips. I love, I like Enrique and, a lot of those guys. There's some I don't care for, but I don't have to say their names. But
Martin's really funny.
Martin's great.
I'm glad you said Martin because Martin's awesome.
Yes, yeah. He's been on this podcast.
Yes, right? Yes. And like that was actually
He did Chinese Rocket Force too when we were there.
Oh no shit, that's awesome. I didn't know he did yours too. Yeah, I didn't see that. But
he's a whore for podcast time. That Martin.
That's probably what it is. He just takes everyone he can get.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But he was such a nice guy. I think for half of it we talked about The Wire.
Yeah,
just like we talk about movies for most of this.
Dude, when he was on Chinese Rocket Force, he told us a story about the time Kyle Rittenhouse came to Austin. And I've heard
story.
I've heard parts of the story from so many people, but the
man, the myth, the legend.
Kyle Rittenhouse became friends with David Lucas online.
course he did.
And then David
Lucas, this is gonna rile people up.
Well, what had happened was
Kyle Rittenhouse.
David Lucas.
That is the type of shit. Like David Lucas would do that just to make people mad.
Yeah.
They would become friends with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Well, I think he had specifically just recently pissed people off because he did like a George Floyd joke.
Of course, he
and
did.
then Kyle Rittenhouse reached out to him and was like, "Hey, we should be friends. They hate me too." You know. He's like, "You made a joke about George Floyd. I killed people. We're the same." And then he like brought him to the mothership, and then I guess Rittenhouse got banned from the mothership.
What did he do?
Because like Rogan didn't want him there. Like he showed up and he's like, "Why is Kyle Rittenhouse here?" And then like banned. And then he also had a dog with him. He has like a service dog that he brings everywhere.
Yeah.
And then Martin was pissed because Martin got bumped at Vulcan, so Rittenhouse could go up and like tell a joke, and Martin like got bumped off the show. and that's the story he told on our podcast. But it's just like,
I wonder what he even said on stage.
He told like, it was like a pun. It was like, what does Kyle Rittenhouse order at the bar? 2 shots or something like that.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, great. Kyle, great bit. Keep getting up there, Kyle.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it's like, but he was like, dude, in no other scene would this be acceptable. Like, you can't just, Kyle Rittenhouse couldn't just drop into the Comedy Cellar and bump somebody, you know?
Yeah, it's Austin.
Yeah, Austin's its own beast. But yeah, when that guy went on, when that stalker went on, it was like, I was like, oh, this is a new level of like, we sometimes watch this because the sicko part of us wants to see real freaks go up. We want to see like a mentally disturbed guy or a homeless guy go on.
Yeah.
But then this was like another level of this guy seems dangerous, and it's actually crazy that they just sent him back out into the streets of Austin.
Well, they did. I know they banned him from the club. What I don't know if you can do much else. I mean, they can't because he didn't break the law. It was what makes it so bad is that at first it's kind of funny, but then he keeps saying weird shit.
He's like, I love her more than my mother who's dead. Yeah.
I love her more than my mother who's dead.
Yeah.
And like, cause I think what they asked, no one ever said anything about his mom or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like they said something like, "Oh, so you care a lot about her."
Right.
And then that prompted him
it's like,
to
yes,
say
I love her more than my dead mother, actually. And I was like, oh, this guy's Norman Bates.
Yes.
Like, he's literally, dude.
Like, it's funny because I feel like Adam Ray had a good reaction, but I feel like Matt Wright's reaction was actually like the normal human reaction.
Yeah.
Where it's like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, right.
If you don't even want to be
flustered.
It's kind of better to not be funny in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know what I would do.
I would commit to the bit. I would do the Adam Ray thing. I would commit and try to be funny.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe, he gets a lot of shit, but he is an excellent host. The thing he does best, in my opinion, is he's really good at hosting. And people don't understand that Kill Tony is what it is because he's such a good host more than anything. He's a good producer. He's a good host. And like his comedy is, I think his comedy is all right, but his hosting is really good. And that's what makes Kill Tony what it is.
He's at his heart, he's really a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, and he's into like the mentality of the audience, and he's into kayfabe and all these ideas. Yeah. And I think that actually helps him a lot when it comes to this because it's like he's trying. I mean, you'll even if you watch Kill Tony, you'll see guests try to ask questions, and he always like gets mad at them because there's obviously clearly a very narrow path to walk down during like the interviews and all this. And people don't realize it because he does it well. But there's a very specific thing he's doing when he's asking questions and he's trying to get, because he doesn't want it to be boring and he doesn't want to like waste time. So it's funny watching him approach a situation like that because he's still trying to make it entertaining.
Right.
But he doesn't know. It's like the one situation he could have never predicted.
Right. And also you can see
an actual stalker.
And you can see the show business part of his brain going off, which is like, hey, the responsible friend in me would be like, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
But the guy who's running a show is kind of like, how often does this happen? We have to milk this for everything we can get, like, because he is and I don't mean anything by this.
It's funny. The good producer was like the Hollywood guy. Keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling.
What makes Tony successful, I think, partially is that he's kind of a sociopath.
Oh, yes. I think you have to be in this industry, in this world.
Yes.
You got to be a little bit crazy if you want to make it.
There's pure evil emanating off of Tony when you're in the room with him.
He's a little demon child.
Yeah. And so it's like, of course, he's going like, oh no, we're keeping it, and you can see Yeah, like you can see all the gears turning of him in real time, thinking about how good this is for the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Smoking his cigarette.
Yeah.
He smokes cigarettes in the gayest way possible. I know everybody makes gay jokes about him, but like to me, that's the most incriminating thing of all. The way he smokes a cigarette. Like if he was ever trying to fight
like Lauren Bacall,
no man I've ever seen smoke cigarettes like that, and I'm not even trying to make fun of him.
Yeah,
I don't know why he does.
He smokes a cigarette like Humphrey Bogart just lit it for him. You know,
I think they wonder who he saw growing up.
Right.
Was he watching Humphrey Bogart movies?
Yeah, but he was idolizing the women. You know,
that's totally me.
Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna fuck Humphrey Bogart one day.
You know, I remember being at Power Hour, and I don't know if anyone's ever said this, but I remember being at Power Hour, and Tina Ukana was the drinker.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, if I close my eyes, it almost sounds like Tony Hinchcliffe is hosting this. It almost sounds like Tony's here.
That's such a funny
thing. So, folks, just go check that out. Just go listen to Tina. Close your eyes.
You heard it here first.
Because I don't know if that's like someone else has said that ever. Yeah. But I remember thinking that and thinking, can I make? Are people going to be mad if I make? Were people going to get it? Can I say that? And I just never said it anywhere.
That's so funny.
But I think, like, I really think I was onto something the more I think about it.
Have you gone to the mothership? Have you been there?
No. No.
Okay.
I haven't even been to Austin.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't, but the Austin scene, I mean, you know, people, they will say what they will, and I think the Austin scene has its own problems.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that it's got a DIY nature to it. And I think that Chicago could use more of a commercial DIY thing in the way that Austin does. Like, Austin blends DIY and commercial
that's like
in a
the
way
Lincoln
that...
Lodge. You know, the Lincoln Lodge is sort of a DIY
But I don't
club,
think that... I think the problem is, like, Roast Battle does it, but I think most Chicago producers don't realize you should be putting this stuff on YouTube, on the internet, very easy to find. Yeah. That's why these shows are popular. Right. Because they know to do that. And I know that you don't want to... The comics don't want to burn material, but you have to find ways. Like, that's why Roast Battle works. Yeah. Like, you can get away with it with something like that. And I just think Chicago could use more of putting itself on the map.
It needs to create its own industry.
And I think Austin is doing that. Yeah. For what it's worth, they are trying to do that.
Because everyone says about Chicago, it's such a great scene. There's great venues, there's great comics, blah, blah, blah. But there's no industry. That's why everyone goes to Chicago and then they go to New York. Yeah. You know?
They always leave. It's like a midpoint for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think it could, I think you could definitely build something the way that, but the thing is, the question is, do you need a Rogan equivalent? Because Austin was like Austin was a fun little like indie scene, and then Rogan moved there, and he became the mayor, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
like gentrification in a sense.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know a person who, I won't say their name because I don't know if they would want me to share this with the world, but Rogan offered this person like a chance to move to Austin. He was like, if you move here, you'll get a regular show at the mothership, like blah blah blah, you know. Wow. And like really trying to schmooze him. And he goes like,
and he said on his show, like, he pays people a lot to be at the mothership. I think he's even said that mothership pays more than any club.
I think so.
And I'm sure it's true.
But then this guy goes like, well, you know, my wife has a job like at a hospital like in this other state. And then Rogan goes like, oh, we'll get her a job at a hospital here. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you'll get her? Like he does have this like almost a gubernatorial like control over that area, you know? Yeah. And so I guess the question is,
he's
Chicago
transferring soldiers from other countries.
Yes. Chicago would need a cult leader to the level that Rogan is to
That's what you need. A cult leader.
Yes.
That's so funny because I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you need a cult leader-esque figure.
Right.
In order to, like, you need Batman to rise from Gotham.
Yeah.
And save Chicago.
Because that industry came from him. He came there and then he brought Tony.
Yeah.
And then that's where the quote-unquote industry of Austin is, you know, Rogan and Tony and the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
And,
you gotta come to Austin. You gotta come here, man. It's great here, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You gotta come to Austin, man.
Yeah. And then it's like...
it's like to the point where it's funny to even hear him try to convince people to come.
Right.
Because he does it so much. You gotta come to Austin, man.
Yeah, he's so obsessed with, like, he was like, this is where it's really
Tim Dillon, we were talking about Tim Dillon before. Like, Tim Dillon went to Austin, and then he leaves, like, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the fucking worst place ever. Don't listen to Joe Rogan. It's a bunch of mud. It's a bunch of mud.
It's kind of a shithole.
Yeah. I kind of believe Tim over him. I feel like Joe Rogan just went there and he likes it because he likes like the community, whereas Tim Dillon was more realistic.
Yeah.
And he was just looking. He actually opened the door and went outside.
Well, also Joe likes, I think Joe. I don't know Joe personally. I think he likes that he's the guy there. He's the most important guy.
Wouldn't you?
He was not the most important guy in LA.
It's I think it's the Kanye song, like no one man should have all that power.
Right.
It's that. It's like you couldn't imagine being that guy. You would never. You wouldn't even know what it's like. How could you imagine if you could move someone to Austin with a phone call?
Yes.
What is that?
You can create your own world where you get to be in charge.
Yeah. I think most people say they wouldn't take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I think they're lying. I think that they don't know what they would do in that situation.
It's you're a kid and you build your own treehouse and you're like, fuck you, this is my club now. I have my own club.
Yeah. Because just imagine you're in control of your world.
Yeah.
You feel like you have control of your world.
Right.
You can just bring people in and cut people out, and you actually can. You actually do have that power because you have all the resources. I mean, if you really are that person, I think it'd be a lot. It's actually, the whole game would be checking yourself all the time and trying not to just be a monster. Yeah. That would actually be the game, maintaining humanity.
The interesting thing too is that like he had the drive and he had, like he really did, like he only created the mothership, but the rest of the scene formed around him.
Yeah.
You know, like all of 6th Street is all comedy stuff now because of that. And you have the mothership and Vulcan and Sunset Strip are all on that street,
Yeah.
And then that's also just like a walkable distance from Creek and the Cave and stuff. And it's like Dave Chappelle lives in Ohio. He could overnight decide to make Dayton, Ohio into the next Austin if he wanted to.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Like he's Dave Chappelle, like I mean, yeah, he could easily, and he has his club, but it's his own little thing, and he just kind of he periodically does stuff. He's not starting a real comedy club like that is there.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's like you do kind of, I guess, have to, I don't know. It's like he was not the star of the Comedy Store, but now that he's in Austin, he's the star of the whole city.
Yeah.
And
I guess it becomes a question of like, because even if you don't agree with it, like how do you evolve a scene? Like how do you have a scene grow and change and have
how do you foster talent?
Yeah, because and say what you will about Kill Tony. Kill Tony fosters talent like nothing else. Like it really does. Where else do you see an opportunity for young talent, for people that anybody can go in there and try to put their hand in and try it out?
Yeah,
that didn't exist before, and I think that like even if they don't do it well. Do it better then. Go make a better opportunity and go make a better chance for comics then, if that's what you think, because there needs to be more opportunities. That's really the moral of the story.
No, I think it sucks that like it has kind of whittled down to a point where like Kill Tony is the biggest
thing the one
that can make you a star from nothing.
I mean, Cam Patterson, he's the
he's
the example like that. He's probably the first of many, right? Where it's that path to SNL.
And now, but there are other things now where it's like let's say you're in the New York scene. You get passed at the Cellar. You do a lot of spots. You might get on a big podcast. You might get on like Soder or like Stavi's podcast or something, and that can still be huge for you. Like that can be a game changer. But like we don't have like Comedy Central half hours like we used to.
No.
Late night TV doesn't do stand up spots like it used to, and also late night TV doesn't get the views that it used to.
I think like the only things comparable to that are like in the public eye would probably be. I mean, I guess like OnlyFans does these specials now.
Yeah, the LMAOF. thing.
Because at least that's exclusive.
And there's Don't Tell still.
Dry Bar exists.
Dry Bar exists, yeah, but that's just clean comedy.
Yeah.
And then I guess Don't Tell maybe is the other equivalent. Like that's kind of maybe replaced doing like a set on Carson or whatever.
None of those are that big though. None of those are like they're big, but they're not like on the level of a Carson or of an HBO special.
Because everyone was watching Carson.
Yeah.
And nowadays there's nothing that everybody's watching.
Yeah.
There's no one thing that everybody watches.
It's funny because it's for better or worse, right? Because you could have somebody who's so famous. They're not famous though. Like you can walk around the street, no one knows who you are. But you look at a device, you got like fucking 2 million followers. You can go to 10 different cities, sell them out, do a tour. But you're not famous,
right?
And I don't think that existed 20, 30 years ago because there's a monoculture that actually we had.
Yeah, and now everything's a subculture.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah,
and there's just so much of that where it's just so many sub pockets of. I mean, being in a city like this, Chicago, you see so much of that. Where I mean. Just little pocket communities where there's people who have these big followings you'd never even heard of, and they're down the street from you. They're like literally right there, and you could just that could happen 10 times in a month.
Dude, I found out Kyron was famous like yesterday.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like he's my friend, and then like I was like looking at and then he told me like like he does comedy full time. I'm like, how the fuck do you afford it? And then I was like, I saw his Instagram followers. I'm like, oh, he's got like a following, you know? And I'm like, I didn't know that. He was just a guy I know, you know?
And in your mind, he is just a guy.
He is just a guy. And you will always, Kai, you will always just be a guy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that like fame is. You can be a successful working stand-up with fans and still be living paycheck to paycheck, you know?
Because I think people think about like follower counts and numbers like that, and I don't even think, I don't know, it just gets backwards in my mind. Like to me, success is being able to live off of that thing and not having to think about paycheck to paycheck and not think about any of that. That's success. And I would much rather be the guy with 10,000 followers that can pay his rent off of that and not have to worry about anything else in the world. I could stay at 10,000 forever. Yeah. I'd rather be that than the guy who's at 1 million that can't figure it out. You know, that just can't figure out how to get these people to help me.
I always say the dream is
not, like I say, pay my rent, but literally anything, right? Yeah. Just fund anything, because you can. It's really, that's the game. How do you get away from a day job and actually pursue this full time? And that's why you hear Kieran say that. And Kieran, how do you pronounce his name? Kyron. Yeah. Yeah. So you hear Kyron say that, and you're immediately like, well, how? And comedians, I feel like, you know, it's only a few routes a lot of the time. It seems to be a lot of the same.
It's mostly
things.
Going viral is the thing.
Viral, I mean.
And nowadays, like, everyone goes viral at least once. Yeah. You know, and it's like, how do you sustain that?
Yes, exactly. How you sustain that.
I went viral like a few months ago. I posted a bit about ice. And it's kind of a dumb bit. Like, it's like not even one of my best ones, but I think it resonated with people. And so it just did numbers, and I got reposted. Somebody told me, they were like, MAGA cult slayer reposted you on Twitter. And I was like, oh no. And I'm like, now like I'm being used in like political conversations because I made like a dumb ice joke. And it was like it totally spiraled into like and then I thought like I could capitalize this and be the politics guy if I wanted to. You know, I could go out there and be like a fucking liberal hero and then just foster that fan base. But I'm like, I don't know if that's me.
You got to be careful, because that's the thing, that's how social media gets you. I think that's what happens. You get, and that's why it drives me nuts, because I think that's I think it's anti-artistic or anti-creativity, this mentality of like algorithmic, just chasing whatever that is. Because let's say you have a video like that does well. Okay, so I was talking about this topic and I was doing this, and you start to try to do that same thing. Well, what were you doing when you made that first video? What was the idea? Because you weren't thinking that when you made the first video. You were just thinking, oh, maybe this would be fun to do. Like my videos that have been the most viral, I was never thinking, what's the viral thing to do? Yeah. I was thinking, oh, what would I want to see? What would be funny? Yeah. Yeah, and then to me, that's creativity. It's like, what would I want to see? What's funny? Yeah. What's interesting? And I think as soon as you start to like think, like you start to be Flanderize yourself and regurgitate your past like things, and it's just crazy to me, because that's the normal. IP conversation. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, and it's the IP conversation. But people are IPs. Yes. Like people are told to become an IP of themselves, and you don't even realize it's happening. Right. And so you just become the guy who makes the same video over and over, but you didn't even realize like you were tricked into that by your fucking phone. Because like to me, that's why I love that I found music and I found songwriting so early on in my life. Because to me, I feel like it helps me understand that I can just take my own time away. I can find a beat, or I can find whatever inspires me, and I can write this thing that I'm proud of, and I don't need anybody else to do anything. And that is what it is, you know? Right. And I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to make something that sounds like this or is like this. I'm just making what I think is good. Whatever makes my brain think, oh, I should put that on paper. Right. And so it's just crazy to me, the idea of doing it backwards and trying to make music for a TikTok sound, or trying to do anything like, or like, oh, people like when I sound like this, so I'm going to sing like this from now on. Yeah. Like, why not sing how you want to sing? It just doesn't make, and I think that when you, as a society, it's just, you don't even realize you're telling people that. Like no one's going out there going, hey, don't do this. Yeah. So I think everybody just started to act like that's what you're supposed to do. Right. But I don't think that it's ever been what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to get more and more of people without like actual identities and without actual personalities and all this, because they never cultivated that. They never had that, you know? And like and that's why skills and having a thing you're interested in or having any hobby at all, like something that gives you a personality is so important. You know, you can't live vicariously through other people.
You ever talk to somebody and you're just like trying to find something that they're into?
Yes.
And they're not into anything?
I can think of specific people, you know? I mean, that's a coworker thing for sure. I think people who are like creative people, because you don't see that so much in creative fields, but you'll see it in like the coworker world, or like where people aren't really doing artistic things so much. You'll see a lot more people who don't have so much direction. They don't have so much. And like you talk to them and you realize, oh, there's just not much going on. To this.
And maybe they watch the shows that people are watching, but they don't really have thoughts on them.
And it's not like they're less of a person. It's just like, oh, they don't have the same type of like direction that I have. Like they don't have a finite like path they're walking down, like a direction. They just kind of, they're just, for lack of a better word, just kind of like frolicking, like lollygagging. You know? Everything's cool. Everything's all good. I kind of wish I was them in some ways. I feel frustrated that I care.
I always wonder, I want to get inside the brain of somebody who's like that, who doesn't really have an interest in anything specific. Because I'm like, what does drive you? You know, and it's a legitimate question. Like, I think something must drive them. And I just don't know what it is. And I'm like, what makes them wake up every day if they're not excited about anything?
It is interesting to me because I think about that in terms of like, I have such a specific thing that I want to do. And I can't imagine not having that. I can't imagine what my life would be like. Or like, even if I just settled for like a regular day job, like I can't imagine being satisfied with that, but I know that exists for so many people. It's like, you know, I'm happy. I was thinking about this the other day, like, because I think my friend's uncle owned a tropical smoothie, and that was like, they had a lot of money because of that, and they had this really nice house, and I was just thinking like, like what would that life be like? Like, yeah, you got to show up, you got to do all this tropical smoothie bullshit, but you also get a really nice lifestyle. So like, is that happiness? Because to me, that's not happiness. But maybe to somebody else it is. I'd feel depressed because I think I don't want to show up to this tropical smoothie job and do all this, you know, managerial work where I'm just trying to keep this place afloat. That's not my thing. But, you know, maybe somebody else is totally happy with that as long as they get to have a kid and they get to have a wife and they get to have a yard and they get to have, like, maybe it's all that other stuff that makes that worth it. And they get to have that simple-mindedness that I don't get to have because I think I have to do all this other stuff.
And I'm happy for them, you know, I don't judge. You know?
That's why I put it that way, right? Because I think it's almost better. I kind of hate that I care and I want to be creative.
Every now and then I think, like, dude, I wish I wanted to be an engineer, you know? Like, I wish that was
like a simple path where a job is promised. You know?
Where there's like a lucrative future. There's a clear series of things.
My mom's told me to learn a trade many times. I mean, electrician's a good one too. Engineer, plumber. Nobody
any like vocational routes is a good idea.
Because the thing is, like, you're guaranteed. Like, it's not like these things are going away.
You're always going to need plumbers. You're always going to need electricians.
And it doesn't even hurt. I mean, think about it. Like, if you didn't have to call the plumber when your shit's not working. Literally. I mean, but so when that happens, that would be, or like electricians, heating and cooling. That's another one. Like if you know heating and cooling, that could probably save your life a lot of the time. Especially if you have your own house. Oh my God, because you pay out the ass. It's like the same thing as if you knew anything about cars. Like the amount you're gonna pay a mechanic. You would rather know how to take your car apart than you would pay the mechanic. My mind just doesn't work that way. I've learned, like, I don't even want to touch my computer. I don't want to take my computer apart. I feel like if I put a car together, it would somehow burst into flames like I was the brother from iCarly. You know?
Sure, No, me too. My brother's like 7 years younger than me. He knows how to do all that stuff.
Some people are just inclined that way. And I think it's like that thing we're talking about with autism and how people's brains work. I just don't work that way. I don't think mechanically like that. I can write a rap song really well, but I cannot put a car together. I cannot put a computer together. I don't even want to touch it. I hate touching anything mechanical because I feel like I'm going to break it. But I can definitely write a song. So I don't know what that is. I don't know how that works. You know. But I mean, like, it's like I've always been jealous of people who have legal minds, people who can think legally. Like they think very even if you can just talk in legal talk and you can think in legal terms. That's a good one. That's a useful one because I can't do that at all. What's another way that people can think? math, people who are really fast at math.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy to me. Like if I just told you two numbers to multiply and you could do it, I like doing math in my head, but I can't do it fast.
I remember my dad, because my dad's, he was an engineer. That's like what he studied, and like he went into like manufacturing, and that's what my sister's a consultant, and like my brothers go to school for engineering, and my dad, when I was young, told me, he was like, John, there's guys with two types of brains. There's ones with mechanical minds and ones with elastic minds. And I think you have an elastic mind. And I was like 10 years old. I think my dad just called me gay,
Elastic mind. I've never heard that.
What a way to call your son gay to his face.
Yeah. You are not a man.
No, yeah, pretty much. My sister is the son that my dad always wanted. I always say that. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've always felt that way when I see like girls who are really into cars. I'm always like, why them and not me? Why did they get to know that?
Yeah.
Because I don't have it. I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
Like I don't look at a car and go, I want to understand.
Right.
I don't have that at all.
I get in it, I drive it, it takes me where I want to go. Great.
I'm a white girl in their 20s when I drive a car. I don't change the oil. I don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like that car just goes till it don't.
I don't really know what changing the oil does, but I know if I don't do it, my dad gets mad at me, and that's all. That's like the rule of. If you don't change your oil, dad gets mad.
You gotta do the oil check, and you gotta change the oil.
Right.
And you see the change engine light, you gotta go and ask them about it.
Yeah. You're like, hey, well, fix it.
Yeah. Ask them, why is this happening?
Right. Hey, car guys, fix it. Yeah. What's the deal?
But you also gotta be careful because they know how dumb you are,
right,
and they'll try to sell you stuff.
They will.
That's the problem too.
They'll be like, "Oh, you need a new air filter. You need like."
And you don't.
Yeah.
And you don't need any of
transmission fluid.
They say you need the special oil.
Right.
And why do I need the special oil? It's better.
Yeah.
Why is it better? Well, it is.
You just need Dexos.
Yeah. And I am gullible. I am a fool. I am affable.
Yeah.
I will fall for it.
Sure. No.
I will fall for it.
No, if you try to upsell me on something, I'll be like, well, why would this guy lie?
Mm-hmm.
I clearly do need it.
I hate that about myself. I can be conned. I can fall for things. I can be conned.
Yeah.
I don't think I could be hypnotized, but I think I can fall for things. You know? Like I will, if I know you're trying to hypnotize me, I won't fall for it. But if you're tricking me, maybe I'll fall for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't like, I don't know. Have you ever been in a hypnosis show?
No, never.
I don't think it would work on me.
I saw one, and I saw him hypnotize the people, and I kind of thought they were lying. I don't know. I looked at it.
I'm pretty sure it's real.
I think they're fucking with it. I guess it must be.
Because,
right?
like, do you think if they were lying, like the people who do these shows, they'd have to get people to lie every time.
Yeah,
that's the only way the show works.
So it must work.
Yeah.
But it's another thing where
Here's
I'm
what
just like, I think I'm built different.
I think I'm built different too.
Yeah.
I think it's 50-50. I think a lot of it is people playing along. But the thing that convinces me is if you watch people like in hypnosis, especially like when these people are going like college campus to college campus, so it's just random kids, they'll be like saying things that even are funny. Like it's like if I say, oh, you're a superhero, like what superhero are you? And you tell me like, oh, I'm super hustler, and you're like, okay, well, what does super hustler do? And you're like, he hustles super hard. And that's it, right? But you're saying it with a complete straight face. You're not trying to be funny. You almost look like you have like a blank look in your eye.
Yeah.
And that's what's weird to me. Because it's like, why would they all do that same like blank face, look in their eye thing?
Yeah.
They'd have to know. It's almost like if it's a role and they all know the role. Because especially if you're in a room full of people and everybody's laughing, like you said, a laugh line, and you're not even smiling. You're not even like, because most normal people, if you say something that's funny, you're going to like, oh, haha, like I entertained everybody.
Right.
So it's weird that you would have a bunch of normal people, like college students, entertaining a room, but not even smiling or leaning into the fact that they're being entertaining.
Right.
To me, that's what makes it seem weird, because it's like, I just can't see normal people being that well directed.
I agree. Yeah.
That's what's weird.
Yeah.
And I think that I think what it's more likely is happening is I think small level hypnosis exists all the time. So I think like when you're talking to people, or a good example is like if you're a comedian and you're killing, right? I think you've kind of hypnotized a room in a sense, because they're with you and they believe you and they're in the same exact headspace that you've created.
Yeah.
So you hypnotize them. You just didn't do it through like the means of hypnosis.
Yeah.
And I think that when you do hypnosis, it's just an example that is possible, even if you're doing it presented that, even if you present it as hypnosis and you tell everybody what you're doing, they'll still play along because our minds really are more plastic than you think.
Yeah.
I think I'm built different. You probably are too.
Yeah.
Because like when I first look at something like that, I think, no fucking way.
Right.
No way are people like that.
A
no
guy
way.
snapped his fingers and said sleep and you slept? Yeah. What the fuck are you talking
Like, they're
about?
being nice.
Yeah.
They're being nice to him because they don't want to ruin his show.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they're
when
good
I see
audience
that.
members is what these people are.
Because that's what I would do.
I'd kill to have these in comedy.
So when I went to I had hypnotist Chris Jones, right? That's funny. When I went to I had hypnotist Chris Jones on the show, episode 188, and I went to his show not long after that. He does a bunch of like comedy hypnosis shows. He calls it Yes and Hypnosis. He's a really cool guy. He was on America's Got Talent. He hypnotized Howie Mandel.
Oh, he's the one who shook his hand.
Yes,
yeah,
that's him.
I've
So
seen that.
you're familiar with that. Yeah, so it was a viral video at the time, and it got really popular, and it's got to be real because no way Howie Mandel agreed to that.
Right.
I mean, he's
a
notorious for not wanting. And he's talked about it later in interviews, and he's described it like it was almost like being drunk, and he felt like someone took advantage of him while he was drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is kind of what it's like.
Right.
But that's a testament to hypnosis, and it's kind of like shows that Chris Jones was taking a gamble when he did that, because I asked him about it, and like he said that hypnotists think about it like fishing with a net. So it's like if you need a bigger group of people so that the hypnosis works better, because it's not going to work on everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to work on 1% of people or 10% of people or whatever. So if I have a group of 1,000 people, well, now I'm going to have a good show. But if I have a group of 15 people, well, now I might be fucked. I don't know what I'm going to do now. And so it's a real big gamble if you're just going to say, oh, I'm going to get so-and-so to do this. Because you have to hope so-and-so is going to get hypnotized. And I remember I went to his show, and his show had about like 20 people. And for those who don't know, with hypnotists, they legally can't do like televised hypnosis in the sense that you can't show the hypnotist saying all the words that hypnotize people.
Right.
Like if you ever watch a hypnotist do hypnosis, you'll never see that. So I thought that was interesting because I'd never experienced that before. Being at the show, I got to experience that. And it was almost like, I don't know how he did it, but it sounded like his voice was coming through the mic twice at once, was like one of the things he did. And I think it's meant to disorient you and get you like a little like, and he didn't properly lead into it, which also disorients you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he said, now I'm going to do the induction thing. Right. He didn't do that. He just kind of said, all right, everybody close your eyes. We're just practicing. Practicing. But we weren't practicing. Yeah. Because that's part of the trick.
Yeah.
And so then he does this thing where it's two hymns talking at once. You're falling asleep. You're so calm. You're so this. You're so that. And I can see how it's effective. Yeah. But then it gets to the point where I kind of realize like, oh, this is the real thing. Yeah. He's not just prepping us anymore. Yeah. And I can hear in my ears people kind of reacting. So I'm realizing, oh, people are opening their eyes, and he's starting to walk up to people and do the thing. Yeah. So now I got to be careful because I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to keep my eyes closed. Yeah. But he might come up to me. Yeah. So I remember like it got to the point he was starting to walk up to me, and I just like looked up and smiled at him, and he like kind of like he's like, all right, maybe I'll come back over here later. Yeah. Because I'm his friend. Yeah. And so he was thinking, oh, maybe I'll get Ruse. Maybe I'll get him. Yeah. And I did not want to bum him. I didn't want to be the guy to like not give him what he wanted. Right. Because I'm not going to get hypnotized. Yeah. Like, bro, I'm the last guy.
I kind of want to try it now just to prove that I won't.
I can't. Yeah. Like, my brain doesn't work that way. And you know what's funny? He made a joke about it. Like, he said, like, older Jewish people and black people are the less likely ones to get hypnotized. And I thought that was really funny because there's got to be some, like,
because they're not that trusting.
They don't trust.
You got to be able to let your guard down.
Yes. Because I think that's it for me. Yeah. I think I'm just like, oh, no, I trust no man, trust nothing.
Internally, you're an old Jew. That's the thing. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Because like I'm in my mind, I'm always thinking like nothing is as it seems. Like this is not like that's how I've maintained my independence in my mind. So I will not sacrifice my independence to your hypnosis show. Like I've gotten this far doing this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like this is like who I am. Yeah. In my mind, I have this whole thing built around it. Like I cannot be hypnotized. I really don't think I can. But I think that most people, it's almost like we were saying earlier about directionless people. Yeah. I think that's a big part of it, right? Yeah. I think if people don't have like an inner foundation, person, it would probably be a lot easier for them to be guided in such a way.
Sure, yeah.
Even like live right there, right then. You'd think I wouldn't fall for that. And like there's like hypnosis shows where people there's a lot of sexual ones where it's like they'll get a girl to have an orgasm on stage.
Right.
Have you ever seen that?
I've seen that, yeah.
Because I mean, what woman would want to do that?
Yeah, you see, it wouldn't work on me. You might make me a little sleepy. You're not gonna get me to fucking come on stage.
Can you
That's
imagine?
crazy. Yeah.
Can you imagine being unhypnotized and fucking having to change your underwear and being kind of confused?
Yeah.
Because I think that you have to remember it. That's why Howie Mandel said it's like being drunk.
Right.
I think people who were hypnotized, they always say like, you can remember it and you can remember all of it, but you can't. Like it's just you felt like different. You remember it, but it was different.
It's hazy. Yeah.
But to me, it's also like I feel like I'm just hyper conscious, so I can't imagine being in front of a crowd and not the entire time be thinking, oh, people are watching me.
Right.
That's what I'm going to be thinking the whole time.
Exactly. I'm performing.
I'm performing right now. Yeah. I don't know how I would ever get in front of an audience and not think that.
Yeah.
But hypnotized people seem to not do that. So that's what doesn't make sense. But I don't know.
I gotta get rolling.
Oh yeah. So
like a minute.
How much time? You got a minute or so?
Yeah, a couple minutes.
Well, the show always ends one. Well, first of all, is there anything that we mentioned your podcast with
Louis. Louis and I have a podcast called Chinese Rocket Force. And then I have a podcast called We Are Movies. And then also Louis and I have a show at Laugh Factory. We have a monthly show coming up. So starting in May. Last Friday of every month, we have a show called Rocket Force Comedy.
And Aaron Putnam's that too. Is you three? Is he a part of it?
Yeah, Putnam. He's the guy who put it together.
Because I remember seeing the poster when it was announced.
He's not going to be there because he lives in New York, so he's not going to be there all the time.
He has an apartment here or something.
I think he might still,
but he goes back and forth.
I think he recently officially changed like his residence.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But so he'll be on the first one at least. But yeah, Louis and I will be there every month, and
nice.
What we got going on?
Sweet. Well, that's a good thing to mention at the very end of this.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very end, I always try to do two things. Okay, so one, the show's obviously for kids, 3 to 5 year olds. That's my audience.
Right.
That's who listens to this. Yeah. I'm obviously a role model. So we have to leave a message for the children, something that they can take, a little nugget of knowledge. We've proved that we are wise adults, and so we will teach them something smart from our brains. Also, second, social medias, where they can find you, all the place they can see your face, all that stuff they can type in to find you. I don't know what it is or where it is. You got to tell them all those different places they can see your faces and the ideas that the children can take with them. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Johnny Mocny. I'm on TikTok at Johnny Mocny Comedy because Johnny Mocny was taken there for some reason. And then, what do I want the kids to take with them? I said it before and I'll say it again. If you're a young man, every girl wants you to kiss them. And take it from me as somebody who's every girl I've ever met wanted me to kiss them. I didn't always give it to them, but that's my advice to the young people.
That's like I think it's like Andrew Tate-esque advice.
Yeah, fuck, shit. No, don't. All right, just so I don't get in trouble, don't actually do that. Actually, I'm gonna give you the opposite. Live your life like no girl ever wants to kiss you, and you'll be fine.
Live your life like no girl wants to kiss you, and you'll be fine. Because you know what? When the girl who does want to kiss you comes along, she'll be the one. Yeah. Because if you live your life like no girl wants to kiss you, and then a girl does want to kiss you, that means she really does. Yeah. Like if you live your life trying to get girls to want to kiss you, you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to get the one. You're going to get a girl who, was trying to find the guy who would do that. Right. You really want the girl who's going to want you to be yourself, and you're not even trying to get a girl to kiss them. Yeah. And that's the guy, because then she's going to be like, she's going to kiss you. You're going to be like, wait, what? You're going to, wait, you like this? Yeah. And then she's going to be like, yes, that's exactly what I like. And you'll be like, no way. Yeah. You'll be like, I feel like that's basically the entire love life of, why am I forgetting his name? Tiger Belly.
Bobby Lee.
Yeah, it's like Bobby Lee's entire life. That's his whole life. He's just been a child ever since childhood, and like you just watch like him describe his relationships, and I feel like he almost has caretakers.
Right.
It's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
But it's almost beautiful. It's almost like inspirational. He has never chased a kiss, boys and girls. Never. Yeah. Not even once.
Not once. He's all about consent, that Bobby Lee.
Yeah, that's his middle name.
Bobby Consent Lee.
And with that being said, folks, that has been all here today on Radio.
I feel like I got hypnotized just then.
Clocking out.
Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calm and collect. It's apparent his caricature is lost in the